You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Winning 2024. How you guys doing out there? You guys are all doing and living well. Great day, great day, great day. Let me first start by thanking each and every one of you YouTube members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And special thanks to Shelly and Wolfram who support the channel over on Rumble. We are, of course, broadcasting live on YouTube, Rumble, and X. If you'd like to support the channel, becoming a member here on the YouTube or the Rumble side is a great way to do it. So I appreciate each and every one of you who do support the channel and are here for all the shows. I greatly appreciate and love hanging out with you guys. So happy that you're here. Tonight on the show, we're going to go through a couple highlights from the Duluth, Georgia rally, which I attended. And I'm going to show you some actual on the ground footage and photos that I took myself here. And we're going to watch two of what I thought were two of the two great fun rally speeches, one from Benny Johnson and one from Tucker Carlson. And I believe it was both of their first times doing such a thing. And they had great ones. Of course, there was a lot of other great speakers there. Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., and Ben Carson, and MTG, and man, just so many great. Charlie Kirk, of course, was there. They all made great rally speeches. But I thought the two of the most entertaining and fun ones were Benny Johnson and Tucker Carlson. So I have this for you. We're going to watch those up front tonight. And then we will get into our election 2024 coverage with news and updates, Rig Watch, border crisis, and other things pertaining to the 2024 election, which is just around the corner. And by the way, I voted today. Yes. So another vote for Trump is in the bag. There you go. Disappointing to see how many incumbents were running, Democrat incumbents were running in the city for positions in the justice system and so on. So I just didn't vote for all those people. I left those blank, but I did vote for Republican otherwise down the ballot. And so hopefully to give Trump some good congressmen to work with. And then, of course, in 2026, we'll have the midterms and we'll have to, again, get at it. So we'll be doing that coverage as well when that time comes around. By the way, let me say thank you first to Wolfram. Thanks for being here, Wolfram, and say hello to the crowd. Wolfram, thanks for dropping these links. Remember to always listen to the wolf. He wipes his paws, lopes it, and howls, and he's here, y'all. They can't they can't laugh at me tonight. No laughing at the wolf. All right, here we go. Well, sometimes. Thomas says that bit James said is so darn close to saying the most powerful country is the one that does not need to have any secrets. There you go. And by the way, speaking of which, we did our Line in the Sand documentary along with the Muckraker documentary on Tuesday, and by a miracle somehow it's still up on YouTube. So that's good news for us. A lot of people are watching it now. A lot of people have been checking it out and getting to see it. And just a little story from the rally. There was a gentleman that was one of the earlier speakers. I can't remember his name, but he asked the crowd if they had seen Line in the Sand, and out of about 14,000 people, 5 people yelled out. And as I was talking to people in line as well, they had not seen it. So it's not getting out there. So we're doing the good work here, people. We're doing the good work getting it out. And maybe that's why it's still up and available on YouTube and X. and of course over there at our secret link on BitChute. So if you do want to watch it, please watch it and share it. And if you have shared it out, I want you report in, please report in, and let me know in the chat who you've sent it, who you shared it to, how many times you've shared it. I want to give you the praise that you deserve. So please, please, please don't be shy. And if you haven't yet, that's fine. The links are pinned in the description tonight, in the chat, and they're in the description as well, and in the description over on Rumble. Hey, Rumble, what's up? Rumble wouldn't us keep it up, but that's fine. We went ahead and did it anyways. But you can still watch it. So make sure people watch it. The comments I'm getting in the video itself are people are amazed by it. It's really having an impact. I know a lot of you that were here that saw it for the first time were impacted by it. You know, you guys know how important it is. So I did a lot of hyping, but it was the real deal. And a reminder, Gary Franchi of Next News Network will be here next week, October 29th at a special time and on Winning 2024. You guys make sure you're here for that. I'm just making sure I can next week. So I'll update my banner here. Network. 29th. That's going to be huge, guys. We're going to talk about all kinds of important stuff that night. Past, present, and future. The past, the Ron Paul revolution, how it had how it helped build up the Make America Great movement, and how it was that is a continuation of what we started way back then. Gary was a big player back in the Ron Paul days. We'll talk about what's going on with this election. We'll talk about the new media and how we can make it better than the old media going into the future. And so let me just fix that. I'm gonna fix one thing on this. We're gonna get going here shortly with Benny Johnson and Tucker Carlson from the Duluth, Georgia Turning Point Action Rally. That was a lot of fun, guys. I'm gonna show you some pictures here in a second too of all that. Let's see. Okay, let's just do that. Oh wait, I messed that up. So yeah, links to Line and the Sand documentary is available in the description and pinned in the chat on YouTube. And I'm going to throw it over to you guys on Rumble as well. So you guys can please check that out. Please go share it with everybody. It will. Oh, look, it's already over there. He's thrown out the BitChute one, which is awesome. But yeah, it's still available on YouTube. That one's getting a lot of traction, guys. So share it out. Make sure you see it. It's a game changer, and it will wake up even the deepest sleeper. I promise you that. What's up, guys? Who else is rolling in here? Let me say hello to you guys as we're getting ourselves ready to go watch Benny Johnson and Tucker Carlson. These are hilarious, by the way. Both of these guys did a great job, and they're fun and they're entertaining. It's like they're not your typical rally speeches, right? And you'll see what I mean when we watch them. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Who else is out there I can say hello to? We got Wolfram. We got Shelly's there. Shelly's welcoming everybody. She's our hostess with the mostest. She gives you hugs as you walk in the door. There she is. And there's T-Rex. He's having dog problems, evidently. He comes in to tell us about his dog. He says, upset tummy all week. Had to get out of the truck for 5 minutes to go to the bathroom and eat half a stale bone. You think it wouldn't upset his stomach. Yeah. Depends on what kind of bone it was. Let's see. People in Congress and houses are sworn in. Third inauguration for president. So down ballots really matter right now. Yes, they do. Let's see. Hello. I'm not streaming yesterday. I was worried. You got to strike. No, yesterday. No, Wednesday. I was at the rally. I went to the rally. I didn't tell anybody, but I went. Now I'm telling you, I was there. I got up early, went and stood in line, and we got in. We got great seats. And took my son, and we had a great time. We got to see a lot of cool things. And that was my third rally. So now I've gone to one for each presidential run, 16, 20, and 24. That was his second. So We had a great time. You got to see some of the young and upcoming people. You got to see Charlie Kirk, who he's starting to like, and RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and like so many people were there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of very cool people, and they are talking about a packed house and a lot of excitement. And that was what was going on here. Yes, so I was there. So okay, who has I don't see any reports yet. Who's been sharing this documentary out? Share the YouTube link out, especially the YouTube link. If you just want to share the documentary link, it's just a documentary without the additional Muckraker documentary and without any of my commentary. You can use the BitChute link for that. So there you have it. It just depends on who you want to send it to. If you think they will get a lot out of watching the entire stream, send them either the X link or the YouTube link. If you think that they would tune out too quickly, seeing me up here or trying to sit through the introduction or anything like that, just use the BitChute link. And there you go. I had my mom watch it with us that night. She said it was crazy. Yes, you did. You did a great job getting people to come in here. I saw your mom in the crowd. It was awesome to see her. I'm so happy she watched it. I hope that helped her understand the situation much better, and that she'll go talk to her friends about it. That's the way we do it, especially leading up to the election. The more people can see this, the better. And like I said earlier, maybe before some of you guys got here, hey, Suzanne, how you doing? Listening but not chatting. Happy you are. Thank you for reposting everything on X. I appreciate you helping support us over there. And Heidi's here. Heidi ho. Heidi hi. That always reminds me of that old song from way back. Let's see. Heidi hi. Yeah, I forgot. What's it called? The Minnie the Moocher? Was it? Yeah, that was a great song from like way back in the 30s, maybe 20s, 30s. It goes way back. That's a classic. It's a classic. All right. I see. I watched the GA rally on Trump's channel. Cool, you got to go. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was like it's a really done up well. I mean, you had like a lot of like excitement there. A lot of excitement. It was done up more like a rock, kind of like a WWE event or something like that with fireworks going off and stuff, sparklers and things when people came out, and music, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. All right. So let's see, where was I? We got that. T-Rex, yes, thank you for bringing your mom. And like I said, when I was at the rally, one guy early said, and anybody seen Line in the Sand? And it was not, people there did not, people I talked to didn't know a lot about that, didn't know anything about that. I had to promote that a little bit while I was there. But also a lot of people didn't know about Agenda 2030 either. So I had a lot of conversations in line with people about these things. Gave out a lot of information where to find things, online, and what to look up and why it was important to know about it, but people there are really receptive to having conversations, you see, especially when you're out in public, and, they're like, wow, okay. They already know things are bad, but a lot of them are just looking for more information about what to be aware of and how they can help. And people are there. They want to help. They want to be part of the solution. And, for them, it's voting and getting the right people in, but there's also more. Oh, were you the green glowing guy? Yeah, that was me, the green glowing guy in the crowd. You can't miss me. I was wearing my jacket and all that stuff. Yeah. You can't miss me there. A lot of characters there as well. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. But I will let me see, how am I going to do this first? Let's warm up by taking a look around. Let's see, was it muted? All right. At what it was like to be there. So I'm going to share, I think. I think I'll just be sharing it like this. Yeah, I think we're good. I'll be sharing it like this. All right. So there's us in line. This is pretty much where I started in line. And that's kind of looking over the rails there. But kind of spin around. Yeah, it's real fast. And spin around and spin around. That's how many people are waiting in line early. This is early. And there you have it. Yep. Okay, so I'll just do like this. That was a video. Oh wow, I could have done it better. All right. That was the crowd. How do we go to the next one? I want a film strip. No. All right, hold on a second. I thought I could go to the next one. Maybe not. All right. We'll do this one by one, so give me a second. I was flipping film earlier, and it wasn't a problem. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right, more shots from the crowd, and then this one. Can you do it like that? Okay, yeah, here we go. No. Let's do it like this. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. All right. Coming up. All right, so more shots from the crowd here. Just kind of looking around. There we go. All these people waiting in line, waiting in line. There's Benny. That's the stage. And there's Tulsi, RFK, Tucker, Charlie Kirk, Blurry. There we go. That's when Trump came out. You see all the sparklers going up. People having a good old time. Got some close-up shots. There we go. I didn't take a lot of pictures, but that's what we got here. There we go. All right, yeah. You know, that was pretty much it. So there you go. I was actually there. Proof positive. It was for real. Let me close these out. Close that out. Close this out. All right. So yeah, that was it. Wow. Why the hell does the chat move much? I have no idea. Oh, I'm dizzy. Yeah. And an interesting debunking hoaxes video today too, huh? Loved it. I have to see that. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I covered that. Ron Paul broke that as soon as it came out. He talked about that. That's true. But I don't think they're going to use it. We'll see. We'll see what that's all about. I mean, just because they do it doesn't mean people are going to follow through with it and all that stuff. Yeah, it was very exciting. It was very exciting. What's up? There's Morph Trust over on. Oh, okay, you're here now. You're Morph Trust over here. Awesome. Okay, so that's Morph Trust is usually over on Rumble. So there. Okay, you're checking it out, making sure your account's working right. I hear you. Slight lag sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Well, you'll get that straightened out. I know you will. All right. So let's take a look at Benny Johnson. First, we're gonna do Benny Johnson, then we're gonna do Tucker Carlson. These two were hilarious. Benny Johnson did a great job. I got to give him credit, man. He did an awesome job, and he was highly popular there. He was very popular. Of course, when he came out, I was like, "Clickbait, Benny." But no, he did a great job. He had a rock star moments. He had rock star moments there. Walking through the crowd, people were excited to meet him and see him. And was it Raleigh Gaines was there too? He was sitting next to her in the crowd. She's really, really pretty. Trump and Joe. Yeah, we're gonna do Joe Rogan and Trump tomorrow night. By the way, here's the place where you can watch it right here. We're gonna do it. Come hell or high water, we'll do it. They may make me flip it out afterwards, but it'll be live on other platforms, and we're going to play it here anyway. So be here for the live showing of it, so we can all watch it together. Hi, Evelyn Cox. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Happy that you're here. Did you see all those pictures from the Trump rally? That was a lot of fun, and you'll see how exciting it was when I play this video right now too. It's a 3-hour podcast. Holy cow! Really? Okay, that's what we're doing. What time does it start? Does anybody know when it starts and where I can watch it from? They're probably gonna make me take it down. Joe Rogan is the worst. He blocks everything, man. Like I don't know if it's him or just I don't know. We have to vote for Trump now. We have to vote in support for Trump now, because not doing so will result in success for them declaring him an insurrectionist. Yes, we need early voting is really going to be key. If is everybody here early voted, make sure that you go early vote. I did today. The lines are nothing right now. The lines are nothing. And Georgia had one of the largest early voting turnouts too. And I went today. We were in and out in 10 minutes. Like it was like nothing. It was nothing. Yeah, we need to get out there and find people. And they aren't talking at the rally. Find the low propensity voters and get them out to vote. Even if you got to go with them, I'll drive you. It seems like it doesn't make a difference, because it's just, you'll say, well, it's just one vote, but it really does. When you think about it, was only 40,000 or less votes that decided the last election. So right now we're full steam ahead. And if they want to try to keep counting and kind of do all kinds of bullshit, we have to be so far that they can't even catch up. Last time they were able to do it because it was close. We can't let it be close. And then we have the lawyers and everybody else in there, on their cases if they're starting to screw up. And people hopefully will go to jail that are trying to cheat. Like I really want to see people going to jail this time that are trying to. I want to see them getting caught. No more of this war. The toilet overflows, so you shut down the voting and you come back and you pull out secret ballots from the table, and that's okay. No more of that shit. No more of that shit. So I'm not sure if it's coming out tomorrow morning. I know Rogan said they're recording it, but it might not come out till tomorrow. Might not come out tomorrow. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye. Either way, I'm going to do a show tomorrow night, because I didn't do a Tuesday night show. So we'll play it by ear. If it's going to be at a certain time, what I'll do is I'll go early, and then we'll watch it for the duration, right? So all the upfront stuff will be all the news and updates, and anything I have left over for the week will go there. And we're keeping our eye out for the October surprises and all that stuff. I got some funny ones tonight too for Rig Watch. There might be an alien invasion. I don't know. It might not come out till next week now. Wow, I'm having a hard time typing tonight. Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye out for it. If not, we're still going to get together tomorrow night. So we're going to get together early. So that's why I was asking what time. It's going to be an earlier show tomorrow night. So we're like 6 o'clock. And I know Fridays, weekends, I like to encourage people to chill. But people might do things in the evening on Fridays. I'm going to go a little bit earlier as I start to move the show towards the evening hours. I hope that everybody here will still be able to come in the evenings. If not, please be part of the rewatch crew. Maybe if that's a case where a lot of my regulars are having a hard time making the earlier show, I'll do one early and one at this time a week or something like that. I won't leave you guys out. Like I like hanging out with you too much. So we got to keep this community going. No, I think no matter what, that the Republicans will pick up the Senate 52 to 57 seats. We need it. We need to give them a majority in the House and the Senate. It's ridiculous that Democrats win on any level. I mean, they're all part of this machine, and none of them should win on any level anymore. They, not until they clean their act up. And that's what RFK was talking about a lot in his speech. He was talking about how, there was a time when that he believes that Democrats were the party of, no war and whatnot, but they've changed. I tend to believe that they've been corrupt for much longer. He just probably didn't see it because he was wrapped up into it as a child, and maybe his uncle and his father were trying to make a difference and change it. But you got to wonder, when they were the ones that were out there trying to make a difference, at their own party somewhat turned on them and left them out hanging out to dry. But I don't know. More to come on that as time goes on, I'm sure. That's another reason why you want to vote for Trump, because he will hopefully release the unredacted versions of the JFK investigation and the RFK investigations, and maybe we can get to the bottom of what's going on. That would be great. It's time to like pull back the veil on all this secrecy in the government. Anything that's not a military secret, national security, truly national security, like our enemies shouldn't know this kind of thing. The American public are ready to know the truth about everything. So let's just put it out there. We're all grown-ups here. We can handle it. I mean, nothing can be worse than what's going on right now. So I think we got this, all right? I think we got this. It's important to not let them have the legal method that is illegal to block him, though. Yeah, I got some stuff on Rig Watch tonight that we're going to go over about some different things they may try. There's some weird thing where they may try to block him from getting inaugurated if he wins. And in a weird scenario, JD Vance would end up as president, as sitting president. It's really strange, but I'm sure if he gets in, that he can pardon a lot of bullshit and get Trump where he's supposed to be. So, especially the BS press conference Harris had last night with the lies spouting from the tabloid articles. Yeah, I know, she's so bad, dude. Even her inside's starting to turn on her a little bit. I got some of that stuff coming up in the election 2024 coverage as well. A lot of people don't like the controlling government, especially in the swing states. Don't be surprised if swing states split tickets with the Congress and the president, as it's to be expected. That's stupid, though. It's stupid because it just stalemates the president. It's dumb. And so maybe even if it does go that way, in 2026, we can change that just by getting through to people. Hey, look, you don't want these Democrats who supported Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the corrupt establishment in the Congress and in the House. We don't want that because we can't get anything done this way. If you want to have a better country, we need to have base people in there that are not going to support the corrupt establishment, right? It would also be important to make sure if they do, the rest of our side knows how to block Kamala stealing it via the blocking method instead of force them to make JD. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight, Thomas. Don't you worry. We'll talk about that. But the Congress can just not show up. So yeah, there you go. Stand outside. See, you've been seeing the same stuff I have. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Okay, JFK got us into Vietnam in the first place. It was low key at first, only his advisors. Then Johnson threw us in with both feet. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's enjoy this very hilarious. I think this is his first time he's been at a rally doing this. I know it was Tucker Carlson's first time, so history here going to be next. But I'm pretty sure this is Benny's first time too. I've never seen him do this before. Let's make sure it's up here, and we'll leave it at a regular speed. We'll see. I think it'll add to the the moment here, and then we'll do winning speed on our videos later. If it goes a little too slow, I might speed it up. People don't want the government to do stuff, myself included. I'd like them to just shut it down, run a skeleton crew. We don't need new laws, in my opinion. Well, I think we need to take care of a lot of corruption, and to do that, we need to have full support everywhere. And I don't suppose that people are supporting Trump are suddenly going to turn heel on us once they get in. Let's hope that's not the case. But I don't think being paranoid about it's going to help us reform and pass laws that are going to take things like Agenda 2030 down and take other things and seal the border off. And we need to have full support. There's legal ways to do things, and we're not the party that's going to subvert the Constitution. They're the ones that are already doing it. We can't become them. And we need to have a base government that's working correctly as intended. And, splitting it between the Republicans and Democrats, that's the same problem we've had our whole lives. That's what's been going wrong our entire lives. We need to get this new group in, the corruption out. We can't get the corruption out if we don't get enough people in there to vote it out and to make the changes that need to happen. If anybody thinks the president can do it on his own, they need to learn a little bit more about the government. But we'll get there. Let's enjoy this first, and we'll talk more about it here in a little bit.
Welcome to the stage, Benny Johnson.
The future of MAGA is here. For Giotto Blow. This is Trump is your president. 2024, we coming back. Joe Biden in the crowd taking naps. Then it's Hunter doing crack.
What's going on, Georgia? My people! What's happening? Woo!
You guys hear it okay?
In the words of Jesse Smollett, this is MAGA country, baby. Woo! I love Georgia. Hello, Georgia. What? Loud up there, baby. That's my dogs. My dogs up there. Georgia has a fond place in my heart. It's a beautiful place. It's a red state. I don't believe this is a swing state at all. This is a red state. Damn it. And Georgia, I want to say thank you on behalf of the entire internet for giving us the greatest mugshot in the history of the world. That's a backfire. Thank you, Georgia. That was loud. Big Fanny can hear you, boys. Big Fanny getting spanked hard right now. I'm sorry if Nathan Wade's in the audience. I'm not trying to get you too excited or anything.
He's like a stand-up comedian.
They're going to jail, baby. They're going to jail. Look what they tried to do to my boy. They tried to ruin his career. They went in, they said, this will ruin his career. We'll give him a mugshot. What they ended up giving him was the cover of a rap album. All you have to do is add a parental advisory sticker, and this is the hardest track of the summer. Y'all seen rappers actually getting this tattooed on them? Does anybody know someone with a Trump mugshot tattoo? This is a backfire. This is the biggest backfire in the history of politics. There's Forgiato Blow right there. Stand up. This rapper has a Trump tattoo of this mugshot. That's a backfire, baby. My man, he's got this mugshot tattooed. It's massive. My wife wouldn't let me get one. I was going to get it tramp stamp. Actually, we should force Tim Walz to get one of those after he loses. The hell is wrong with that guy? Tucker Carlson's backstage. He has some takes on Tim Walz. Okay, here we go. Got any Christians in the audience? Here's the point. This is the point. What man intends for evil, God intends for good. And that's what happened here. It's what's been happening to our boy Don. This entire election cycle, they have tried to assassinate him. They tried political assassinations, Hillary Clinton, Russian dossier. They tried impeachment assassinations. They tried judicial assassinations. He's facing 400 years in jail. Some states tried to take him off the ballot. They tried to remove the capacity to vote for Donald Trump. That is itself a style of assassination. So when you vote Trump, vote twice as hard for those people that didn't want, the democracy defenders that wanted to take him off the ballot. Ladies and gentlemen, then they tried literal assassinations. I see Brick Suit down here in the front row. He was there in Butler. But what man intends for evil, God intends for good. And what we ended up getting was something even more epic, ladies and gentlemen. What we ended up getting was some sweet salt for our liberal friends. Eat the salt, lib. Ooh, baby. Hey, Kamala, would you like a side of lies with that? Kamala Harris lied about working at McDonald's. Anybody worked fast food? Anybody worked as a waiter? I sure did. Most Americans have. This is what's up. Guys up there talking about special sauce. I got some special sauce for you, pal. It's the memes, baby. Oh, McTriggered. They can't stop the memes. Come on. You want some salt? We got you salt. Just change the sign already. Just change the damn sign. Listen. You can do it. We can do it. I want to speak to the manager. I don't normally break news in front of massive stadiums of people, but y'all are just too beautiful. I was sent a very exclusive, very private screenshot of a photo of Kamala Harris on her birthday watching President Trump work the fries at McDonald's. Do you want to see it? No, it sucks. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kamala. This was not a great birthday present for you. Commander-in-Chief. How do you beat this? You don't beat this. Trump fixed the ice cream machine. Trump worked at McDonald's for one day. He fixed the ice cream machine, and now Joe Biden's wearing a MAGA hat. What timeline are we living in? This is the greatest timeline. I have played for you some memes today. That's not a meme. Joe Biden knows. It's all the ice cream machine, baby. Not a meme. A real photo. Who wants a commander-in-chief who's a servant leader? Because that's what this is. Christian servant leadership is putting on that apron when you're a billionaire, getting your hands dirty, getting some of that salt, some of that grease on your skin. Who's been there? I've been there. Working like the common man. You know what that does? That gives us dignity. It says we are all created equal. God did create all of us equal. There is no white or black America, red or blue America. There's just the United States of America. We're all together here. And we can all enjoy some delicious, salty, crispy fries served to us by our commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, as a servant leader. That's why the libs are freaking out over this. They can't conceive of ever stooping down to our level, ever doing real work like the common man. This is why they're losing their minds, because they know how much this connects. It connected so much, in fact, that RFK Jr., who's backstage, said, he told me right before I went on, he said this would be the only time he'd eat seed oils is if Donald Trump served the fries at McDonald's. Powerful. What's the alternative here, exactly? So what's the other side offering? Somebody yelled, "Christ is King," at Kamala Harris. And she said, and I quote, "Oh, you are at the wrong rally this week." Ladies and gentlemen, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. If you believe Christ is King, you're in the right house tonight. Christ is King. Christ is King. That's the difference. This is the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Any gun owners? What the hell's going on with this guy? Can somebody explain to me, like, I get it that you're loading tampons into your shotgun, but you're not supposed to load your shotgun in your crotch. Are you trying to become a eunuch? Are these the free vasectomies I keep hearing about from the Democrat Party? Is this how it happens? Maybe this is why he can walk around like this all the time. Good old tampon Tim. So total frauds. Do not start a tampon Tim chat. Do not do it. Although I will tell you, the greatest self-control I've ever seen in my life is the greatest self-control I've ever seen in my life. That's the JD Vance section up there. The greatest self-control I've ever seen in my life. You know you're going to hurt his feelings, right? You know he has a $2,000 shotgun he's never fired, right? That he didn't get a single bird. Anybody ever gone pheasant hunting? Anyone gone hunting? He didn't get a single bird, didn't fire a single shot, loaded the shotgun in his crotch, and used tampons, I think, to load the shotgun. Maybe that's the problem. They're fraudulent. They're fraudulent. They're offering you an ideology that hates Christians, that hates Christ, and want to blow your balls off, I guess, when you're loading your gun. That's bad. Our guy is offering you crispy, salty deliciousness from McDonald's with a smile as he waves like a Norman Rockwell painting. Our side is bringing people together, including the man that's going to take us to Mars, including the man that's given everything for free speech. You want to talk about real joy, a campaign of joy? That's a campaign of joy right there. Our boy Elon. God bless Elon Musk. Look at this moment. RFK will soon be on stage. This is the movement of populism. Populism is popular. The reason why is because, correct me if I'm wrong, we're all Americans, damn it. This is our country. There's not going to be another one. We're Native Americans. We were born here. My granddaddies were born here. That means it's our country, and they have no right to destroy it. Populism means protecting our borders. Populism means putting America first. And there's only one motivation that you need, ladies and gentlemen, to carry through the day. And I'll share it with you. It's my motivation. It's my kids. This is my family. I got 3 kids, and that's my wife right there, Nurse Kate. We're pregnant with our 4th. We are going to repopulate America with patriots, baby. And it's never been easier. The left loads their shotgun in their garage. It's never been easier. I fight for my children. My children are Americans. They deserve this birthright. I fight for them. They're Americans, and a blessed generation leaves the country better off for their children. That's my motivation. That's what making America great again means. It means making America great for my American children. That's something worth fighting for, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we are going to do. And I'll leave you with this. All God ever asks for, he asked for this in the Old Testament, Sodom and Gomorrah. It was a place that, they'd had a very rough, bad go. And all God asked for, the angel of God asked for, is for good men and women to stand up. And he said, I will save your land. I will save your nation. Will you stand with me and be seen tonight by God to save America? May God bless you. It's your boy, Benny. We're going to win.
The future of MAGA is here. For Giotto Blow. This is Trump is your president. 2024.
Nice. Wasn't that funny? That was hilarious. I thought he did a great job. Did you have chills? Yeah, that's what it's for. That's what we're doing it, man. That's what we do it for, man. They do deserve their birthright. They do deserve to have the country. They deserve to have the childhood we had. But that's been taken away. So we got to get that back for our grandchildren. You know, for their children, their children. Let's put it back the way it was meant to be. That's what we're saying here. That's what that's all about right there. So Benny killed it. Benny was hilarious. Benny should probably be a stand-up comedian. That was funny. He was really, really good. I'm telling you, everybody in the crowd. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell or not, but they were laughing their heads off, man. Everybody was. Absolutely killed it. Another guy that killed it was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was phenomenal. A little different take here. Let's see. So I don't know if we'll get as much camera movement. He didn't use memes and videos, so straight on through this. Did you guys enjoy that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember the Dick Cheney hunting incident. Maybe Dick Cheney and Tim Walz should go hunting together. That would be great, wouldn't it? I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. All right. Well, without further ado, let's keep the excitement rolling with Tucker Carlson. As long as he's been covering politics and been going to political rallies, the very first time he's ever gotten up and spoke in front of a crowd at a rally in support of a candidate. I think he did a great job. You let me know. Let's check it out.
Oh yeah. I have never in my life spoken at a political rally. I've covered a million of them for over 30 years, and I've never spoken at one, never thought I would. And I'm so thrilled. I'm honored to be here. I really am. And I am. It's totally without shame and entirely with gratitude I'm standing here. And I can't believe I just spoke after Bobby Kennedy. It's so cool. So here we are at an enormous Donald Trump rally less than 2 weeks before the presidential election. I'm following Bobby Kennedy Jr., and somewhere in a half-empty Union Hall in a cold state is Dick Cheney's creepy little daughter campaigning with Kamala Harris. And I have to say, that is a thrilling trade as far as I'm concerned. I never thought I would live to see the day when Bobby Kennedy would be one of the most beloved figures in a room full of Republicans, and Mr. Burns from The Simpsons and his criminal daughter would be Democrats. It's just absolutely wonderful. So here's my perspective. I think Donald Trump's going to win, which is amazing. And that's why I'm here. I'm not here because he's going to win. I'm here because I'm so thrilled by what I've watched over the past 9 years. This is the end of a redemption arc. I've really never seen anybody treated like Donald Trump was treated, ever. Anybody, ever. Attack him, I watch this all up close. Defame him, indict him, arrest him, let him get shot in the face, and he's gonna win anyway. Oh. It is a triumph. It's a triumph. The phrase triumph of the human spirit has been turned into a cliche by the people who write movie posters, but it doesn't make it any less real. Donald Trump's victory will be a triumph of the human spirit. It will be a triumph of Americans over the machine that seeks to oppress them. It'll be a middle finger wagging in the face of the worst people in the English-speaking world who are leaders. It will be a moral victory the size of which I never thought I would live to see. And it's essential. It is so important that that happens for a couple of reasons, and here's what they are. The first is to dissolve for all time, for the world to see, the primary lie about Donald Trump, which is that only freaks and misfits like him. That's a lie. And they've been telling that lie since the second he came down that escalator 9 years ago. If you like that, there's something wrong with you. You're the only person you know who likes that. You're a freak. Be ashamed. Do not talk about Donald Trump in public. Don't wear his dangerous little red hat. And if you're in the media, how dare you speak to him? And that was a lie from day one. It was a big lie. It was January 6th is an insurrection. What? It's the kind of lie that they tell relentlessly. They punish anyone who contradicts the lie because it is so preposterous it can only be upheld through force. And in the last 3 months, we have seen that lie dissolve like the Wicked Witch of the West under a bucket of water. Look around. Is this a room full of freaks and misfits? No, it's not. This is a room full of people who love their country enough to obey its laws, who sincerely believe in its founding precepts, who pay their taxes, who go to work. The ever-shrinking percentage of Americans who work a 40-hour week, who expect nothing from the system, and who have given their lives for the system, who were born in this country and plan to die here. And they're the most mistreated group in this nation, and they're also the biggest group in this nation. They're not some weird subculture of MAGA. They're America itself. And the only people who are denying that are the freaks and the misfits, who it turns out are themselves a tiny, bizarre minority, a cult, who have controlled the rest of us through fear and aggression. And that has ended. And it has ended thanks to the heroic stand that a couple of individuals have taken, first among them Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who single-handedly saved the First Amendment to the Constitution, which, let me remind you, is not just a feature of America, it's the basis of America. It's the First Amendment for a reason. It's what separates the free from the enslaved. Slaves are not allowed to say what they think. Free men have God-given right to do so and will. And this is the only country on earth in which that is guaranteed. And without Elon Musk, it wouldn't be, because he stands alone as the owner of a media platform that is still open. There's only one, and it's X. It's foreign-born Elon Musk. And then for him to come out, and by the way, just for the record, I've taken not a dollar from Elon Musk, okay? It's not a paid advertisement, it's just an observation. And this is heartfelt gratitude. And when you see the richest man on planet Earth stand up there in a t-shirt, start jumping around on stage, he's also one of the biggest federal contractors. People say, oh, he's got FU money. No, it's just the opposite. There is no such thing as FU money. The more money you have, the more vested you are. There's only FU poverty, actually, is the truth. And Elon Musk has more to lose than any living American by taking the position that he did, and he did it anyway. And so what's the message? If the person who's created the most, not just piles of cash, he's not Larry Fink, he's not worshiping money like our finance class, he's building things. And if that guy is for Donald Trump, and not only not ashamed of it, he's jumping around in a t-shirt, I can see his belly button, he's so excited. Then maybe I'm not alone. Maybe I'm not the freak. Maybe what you're really watching is the tyranny of MSNBC, a channel with virtually no viewers. A channel on which almost every single person has a personal life so grotesquely weird, if you knew the details, you'd call for their arrest. That's just true. And those people, the unhappiest people in this nation, are defining the tones of the conversation? I don't think so. How'd they get away with that? The same way they got away with calling January 6th an insurrection for 3 years, by repeating it and by attacking anyone who disagreed. But it's an illusion. It's the Wizard of Oz. And once you pull back the curtain, the only thing back there is Joe Scarborough, you're like, wait a second. Why am I taking orders from this guy? He's a freak. I'm a normal person. And that realization has settled on this country, on the whole country, and you feel it. People are not afraid anymore, at all. I've got a bunch of kids. I texted them, I'm going to go speak at a Trump rally. My kids, you go. I said, do you have a lot of friends who are voting for Carmela or whatever her name is? No, of course not. That's embarrassing. It has flipped. The story the country tells itself about reality has flipped. None of the normal people are supporting the Democratic machine. Tim Walz is supporting the Democratic machine. A man you would never allow to babysit your own children. That's the archetype. It's the party of weirdos, of envy, of hate, of resentment, of bitterness, of weakness, of a total lack of creativity. It's a party of conformity. It's a party of the machine, where it doesn't matter who the candidate is because individuals are immaterial. All that matters is the collective. That's the Soviet model. And opposing them is the rest of the country, slowly waking up to the fact that these people have no moral authority whatsoever. They have no legitimacy in a democracy where the government must rule by the consent of the governed. They have no consent. And the way that they've treated this country over the past 4 years is the most shocking thing I've ever seen in 55 years. To allow millions of people, mostly young men with no skills and no English, into our country illegally, and then fly them around at our expense and give them phones and put them on welfare programs that no American citizen can get. It is the most insulting, yeah, boo, but it's worse than boo. That's the biggest crime in the history of the United States of America. And it takes incredible stones, incredible gall for the people who did that to stand up there on a stage and give you a lecture about how you're immoral. It's too much. And so that's the second important thing about this election, okay? The first is every person in this room needs to understand you are not in a despised minority. You are in an incredibly gentle and tolerant majority who put up with this crap for way too long. As they insulted not only you, but the memory of your ancestors who died for this country. They tore down statues to their memory. People have never built anything in their lives. They went out of their way to humiliate you and spit on you and the graves of your ancestors. And that's not an exaggeration, they did that. And this country is so nice, it's so polite, it's so thoughtful and empathetic and sweet. It's the kind of country that loves dogs and gives directions to strangers that we put up with it for 4 years. But we can't anymore. We just can't. And we can't for two reasons. The first reason that we can't put up with it for one more minute is because it's just not justice. It's not justice. It's unfair. You cannot reward the most parasitic, useless, violent, nasty, aggressive people in your country. You can't make them the richest. You just can't. It's just wrong. In a fair, decent country, the people who work the hardest, who have the highest level of talent, who are the most creative, who are the most decent to their neighbors, who give the biggest tips to waitresses, those people should be successful. Those people should be revered. It shouldn't be Larry Fink. Are you joking? Kamala Harris shouldn't have a job. She has no skills. How did we wind up with a system where Kamala Harris, you couldn't change the tire on your truck, much less drive it? How did she wind up at the top of the pyramid? And then once she's there, she lectures you like you did something. It's too much. You can't allow that. It's an offense against the truth, against reality, and against justice itself. And the second reason you can't allow it is very familiar to anyone who has children, which is if you allow it, you will encourage more of it. If you allow people to get away with things that are completely over the top and outrageous, if you allow your 2-year-old to smear the contents of his diapers on the wall of your living room, and you do nothing about it, if you allow your 14-year-old to light a joint at the breakfast table, if you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're gonna get more of it. And those kids are gonna wind up in rehab. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them. No.
Clippable moment.
There has to be a point at which dad comes home. Yeah, that's right. Dad comes home. And he's pissed. Dad is pissed. He's not vengeful. He loves his children. Disobedient as they may be, he loves them. Because they're his children, they live in his house. But he's very disappointed in their behavior. And he's gonna have to let them know. He's gonna have to get to your room right now and think about what you did. And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl. And it has to be this way. It has to be this way because it's true. And you're only gonna get better when you take responsibility for what you did. That's not said in the spirit of hate. It's not said in the spirit of vengeance or bigotry. Far from it. It's said in the spirit of justice, which is the purest and best thing there is. And without it, things fall apart. The Democratic Party machine, and notice I'm not beating up on Kamala Harris, it's just a hapless victim who happened to be there in the right color, so they grabbed her. Tim Walz, they needed some, whatever Tim Walz is. They needed a weak man, because it is the party of weak men and unhappy women. One of which leads to the other, by the way. Where you find weak men, you will inevitably find unhappy women. Sorry. And they make them on purpose. They weaken the men to drive the women insane, to have the most consistent voting bloc ever in the history of politics. Unhappy women, made unhappy by weak men. But it could be anybody. It could be anybody. Kamala Harris is just a stand-in. She's a cardboard cutout. I mean, she has a soul. God created her. I'm not attacking her humanity. But there's nothing there. It doesn't matter. If it wasn't Kamala Harris, it would be, I don't know, Pete Buttigieg or whatever. Who are these people? It doesn't matter. They're the cutouts. They work for the machine. They're totally dispensable. They're replaceable. And they need to have limits set for them. And so on election day, and I sincerely believe Donald Trump's going to win. And if I thought he was going to lose, I'd be here anyway, by the way. I would. In fact, I would have been here earlier if I thought he was going to lose, just to make the point. I mean it. I don't like people who jump on the winning train, okay? I think Donald Trump's going to win. And not only do I think Donald Trump's going to win, I think that the vibe shift has been so profound. I mean, the numbers suggest he's going to win. He's ahead in all 7 battleground states. But much more important, and the early voting seems to be favoring him. But more important even than the conventional political markers is what you smell around you. And it's the return of freedom. It's the return of the country you grew up in, where you could say things like, I like that guy, and maybe like the other person, that's fine. That was not allowed for 9 years. And it's allowed now. And I think, and it's because of what they did, by the way, they deserve this. But I think the vibe is so strong right now, I don't think we can get away with pretending something else happened. I don't think we can have another 2020 at this point. I just don't. I don't. Where they hid relevant facts from you, they prevented you from knowing about their candidate, and then claim victory, or 37 billion votes or whatever they claim he got. That's rigging the election. Period. If the government prevents people from knowing critical information about a candidate, they have rigged the election. And they did that. Period. Oh, you're not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say it because it's 100% true. And every person who hears it knows it's true, including the people who did it. I don't think they can do that again. I don't. And I don't think, no matter what they pull, 2 weeks from now, 13 days from now, I don't think they can get away with standing up and being like on MSNBC, no, actually, Kamala Harris is a historically popular, it turns out. A woman who's never had a job who can't even pronounce her own first name consistently. That's how false she is. Some woman who grew up in Montreal, Canada is lecturing me about America. Okay. I don't think they can do that because I don't think people are going to sit back and take it. I don't. It's enough. It's enough. That's the point at which you say, no, I'm sorry. I put up with this crap for a long time. I indulge your little fantasy. It's like when your teenage girl becomes a vegetarian, you're like, okay, that's, well, okay, it's fine. No, I totally understand. You're like, it's a phase. But if that phase goes on for 9 years and includes destroying your major cities and allowing your country to be invaded by millions of foreigners whose identities you don't know, and whose purpose in this country is unclear, by the way, why shouldn't we feel threatened by that? If they go out of their way to crush families, to make it impossible for your kids to buy a house, and getting involved in the sex lives of your children, which they are, if they do all of that, they need to lose. And at the end of all of it, when they tell you they've won, no. You can look them straight in the face and say, I'm sorry, Dad's home, and he's pissed. Thank you.
There you have it.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now.
Now I have worked at McDonald's.
All right, there you have it. I got some more for you. Hold on 1 second. Let me get it queued up here. Let's see. Did I get my mic straight? What did you guys think of that one, huh? Tucker killed it, right? Not bad for his first time. I think he did really well. Crowd loved it. They were very excited to see him. Let's see if I do this. See if I get right to it. Back one. Give me 1 second here. As well. Well, hold on. What's up, guys? Certain media spinning his daddy home is pissed. I bet they are. I bet they are spinning that. I bet they are spinning that one. Hold on. Sorry, I'm being quiet here. I'm trying to get to this this next one. If I can find it. I thought I had it saved. Oh yeah, man. We got some election news coming up. Tell you what, let me since I'm not seeing this right away. Where's the one I just played? Maybe they changed it. I had one that had RFK and Tucker and all of them on stage together. Hold on. Let me play this so I'm not sitting here quiet and get you guys back to we'll come back at it. Let's see. We'll come back to it in just a second. Let me find it for you guys because I have something else already set up for you. And I'll find it and get it ready. Why did Twitch have YouTube Shorts? They literally have Instagram. All right. I can show you the whole RFK one too if you guys want to see it. Would you guys like to see the whole RFK one? Let me know in the chat. Let me see. It's Rig Watch 24. And yes. All right. Sure. Everybody's up for that? Let's do some let's do that though. All right, here we go. Here's RFK bonus footage. Now we won't have to find the other one. Let's see. I wish I could find that one though. A little bit more synced. Yeah. Let's do it this way. In the hub. All right, I got it now. I got it. Got it. All right. Just give me one more second, guys. How you doing out there this evening, guys? Hope you guys enjoyed that. I thought that Tucker had some great moments in that, didn't he? Daddy's home and he's pissed. All right, so this is when he brings out the dream team here, without minus Elon and Vivek. But this was, I think, it was a great moment. I wanted to share with you guys right here. I should have just done this to start with. So all that dead air.
Look at that. You know, we do. I don't know if you know, we spend more money by far than any other nation. But we have more chronic health problems than any nation.
Andrea, how's it going?
More childhood diseases than we did just a generation
Grab
ago.
that link to line in
Millions
the
of
sand and watch
Americans
it.
are realizing that something is wrong. By getting this fixed, not only will we have healthier families, we will save trillions and trillions of dollars and bring down the cost of health care. With us tonight is the man who's going to help us get it all straightened out, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
We have 1,000 chemicals in our food that are illegal in Europe. But the problem is not from those chemicals. The big problem is corruption in our federal agencies. And these agencies are now owned by big pharma, by big food, and big agriculture. Don't you want a president who's going to get the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want a president who's going to get the corruption out of Washington, D.C.? And don't we deserve a president of the United States that's going to make America healthy again?
Nobody gets a standing ovation. Thank you, Bobby. Nobody gets a standing ovation like that. What's going on over here? That's great, Bobby. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. Nice one. What for him?
And as you know, Bobby's great mother, she was a great woman. Ethel passed away, so our regards and condolences to the family. Thank you, Bobby. Our movement is bringing together Americans of all backgrounds who believe in freedom, democracy, and a thing called common sense. Much of it's common sense. Conservative, liberal, it's common sense. Let me also call up two other incredible patriots who want to help save our incredible country. Former Democrat presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard. And by the way, she just became a Republican. And a great man, a brilliant person, and a true character, Tucker Carlson.
All right, I'll say something. I think Donald Trump's singular contribution to this country and the world is by his presence exposing a lot of things a lot of us believed as fraudulent, as lies. It's changed my life watching it. But the single biggest lie that Donald Trump has exposed is that this is a functional democracy, when in fact, it's a country oppressed by a small group of its unhappiest citizens for their own benefit. And the promise of this campaign is that Donald Trump will return this country to its owners. Yes. And that's its population, that's its people, that's its citizens. And I pray fervently that that happens. I mean it. That's why I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
We have seen from the very beginning how much President Trump has been attacked, smeared, censored, the government weaponized against a candidate for president and a former president in ways that have never been seen in our country before. The reason why this has happened is because he is the sole person who has had the courage to stand up against the uniparty war machine in Washington and have the audacity to call for peace and an end to war. While he has challenged the swamp creatures in Washington, all of you have resoundingly nominated him for president 3 times in the last 3 presidential elections. We know whose side he stands on. He stands on the side of the people. He stands on the side of peace and prosperity and freedom for all Americans. It's why I'm proud to stand with President Trump and why we, the people, must vote to send him back to the White House and make America great again.
There you have it. Exciting times, definitely exciting times indeed. All right, let's get on with the election 2024 coverage. And as we roll on, we just got a couple of quick hits from the election 2024 category. I've already seen a couple of those, but let's get into some more stuff. Seems like they, the more you hear out there, you hear that they're kind of like, are they giving up on her? What are they doing? In some cases, you'll see that they're trying to put out propaganda saying, oh, it's closed, it's closed, it's closed. I don't know if I believe that or not, but let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's see.
I'm on a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so I guess reality has settled to the extent where the media just can't lie anymore. It's always the same repeating pattern, huh? Oh, Joe Biden is just great. Joe Biden's fine. In fact, Joe Biden is the most competent and alert president of all time. That was the initial narrative, right? Anybody even questioning Joe Biden is a MAGA chud conspiracy theorist. But then, of course, as reality kicks in, as it really starts to settle in, and as the polling results
did too yesterday, Heidi.
Then all of a sudden, surprise to everyone, Joe Biden has dementia. It's funny how that works, huh? Well, now it's exactly the same thing. Kamala Harris gets announced as the new Democrat-selected puppet to run for president, and these leftoid clowns in the media, I kid you not, were saying that she was the most qualified to ever run for office. Ever. The most qualified person ever.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
And yeah,
I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, that need to be done. I'm pointing out done things that are done.
Of course, maybe it was easy to, keep that mask on for a little while. And then, of course, the American people start to get exposed to the truth, certainly not thanks to the mainstream media. And now here we are once again in the exact same position as we were back then with Joe Biden. The truth is starting to set in, and the leftist media has their back against the wall, forced in a position to finally tell the frickin' truth. Folks, there's a lot of things that are indefensible, like supporting open borders, supporting life-altering surgeries for young children, and of course, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is indefensible, and I think the media has finally realized this. Maybe it's not worth throwing your entire credibility and reputation in the dirt for such an unimpressive candidate. The media finally tells the truth. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so Kamala did her little CNN town hall here, and it was obviously an unmitigated disaster, but a lot of these times, even after an unmitigated disaster performance from a Democrat, you expect to tune into the CNN panel after the fact and hear all the talk about how great Kamala Harris was, or a bunch of copium suggesting while it may not have been her best performance, we think she performed admirably considering the circumstance, or like with the Brett Baer situation, Kamala Harris did her best despite a hostile environment. Some BS excuse as if Brett Baer is an unfair journalist for asking fair questions to a candidate running for office, pretty much all the questions that the American people are asking. But instead, we got something quite different, a whole lot less copium, and finally some truth. I mean, holy freaking moly, a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I watched CNN this time, and it didn't feel as bad as it usually did. I wasn't there ready to rip the hair out of my scalp. Take a look.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city. And she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
She doesn't have to be flawless, but she has to give you something. I mean, she's like a true double threat. You know, she's terrible on her feet when she gets unexpected questions. And simultaneously, she can't even answer the expected questions. It's nothing, nothing, nothing. You think she'd be prepared to do this by now. You know, what's a mistake you've made? Nothing. What's a weakness you have? Nothing. What's the first law you want to pass? Nothing. What's a policy difference between you and Joe Biden? Nothing. Over and over and over. Empty, empty, empty. If she were an animal, she'd be a duck-billed platitude.
But look,
It's a total
focused a lot more on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do as president. But she did go into some of her plans for small businesses.
Well, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And, you know, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in. And on the question of who she is, people are understanding that a little bit more, but what she will do, the question about her legislative priorities, name one, there wasn't one.
I think that the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary.
Kamala Harris participated in a one-person debate last night, and she lost. Okay, she was asked direct questions.
She lost.
And she provided very circular
debate.
answers. My colleagues Van Jones and David Axelrod and others noted that, you know, she provided word salad answers. And, you know, Anderson would ask her specifically direct questions, and she didn't provide an answer to them. When asked, Anderson asked the best question all night. Why didn't you do this 4 years ago? Why haven't you been doing this?
Yeah.
10-minute answer, didn't answer the question. So what she did last night, I don't think helped her cause at all. I think people were looking for, you know, how are you? You heard the one woman. How are you going to make my life better? That wasn't provided. Donald Trump bad is not going to get you to the White House. I hate to break it.
Yep, you pretty much get it. I think the media is abandoning ship. I think they've realized this ship has sailed. This whole Kamala thing, it ain't working. Probably time to pivot the strategy. Honestly, it doesn't really surprise me, considering I think secretly a lot of these media talking heads really want Donald Trump to win. Let's just say CNN might not be able to go on too much longer unless they somehow turn it around. Let's just say CNN's ratings in the post-Trump era haven't exactly been so hot. But anyways, I don't know exactly what the motivation is, but we're just at a point where no one can defend her. It's indefensible. You can't defend the word salad nonsense that was coming out of Kamala Harris's mouth. You just can't, especially considering the circumstance going into this thing. You know, there's been so much talk. Everyone keeps advising Kamala Harris, come on, you got to answer these questions. You got to get the job done. You got to be honest. You can't just keep kicking the can down the road and not taking any responsibility for your actions. You know, there's been general demands of Kamala Harris, and again, she doesn't deliver. If I was a left-wing talking head, I'd be utterly disappointed. What is she doing? You know, if that was Donald Trump as a candidate, I'd be sitting there going, man, come on, just answer the freaking question. That's the situation that Democrats are in. I think they're just fed up. They're just done with it all. They're raising the white flag, throwing in the towel, you know, kind of like the TYT. They're just done. We can't defend her anymore. We cannot do it. Our reputation is already in the dumpster. We know that. But this, I mean, this is taking it to a whole other level. This is indefensible, especially after 4 years of defending sleepy, creepy, piss pants, brain melt Joe Biden. I mean, holy moly, I can't believe they said it. Not just the part where they're saying Kamala Harris probably didn't get the job done, but on 2 occasions, referring to Kamala Harris's answers, or rather non-answers is probably a more accurate description, as word salad. How crazy is that? They sound like me. We've been describing Kamala Harris's speeches and answers for years at this point as word salad nonsense, but of course, the left has disregarded that kind of rhetoric.
Thinking word salad nonsense, right? Our next video goes into that a little bit deeper, so I'm gonna cut that one right there and go back to this one. Go over to this one right here. This is pretty hilarious too. We got a lot of hilarious videos tonight. And we won't play all of it, but we'll play a lot of it. Here we go. Keep it on the theme.
Never mind Trump losing the election. America's next civil war has already started. This is how it will end. So saith the Independent. The Times has a poll. Quarter of Americans fear civil war after the election. And we have this from the Washington Post, our deepening cold civil war. From Wired, online talk about civil
I'm starting to use my terminology now. How about that?
War could inspire real-world violence, DHS warns cops. And then, of course, from the Washington Examiner, fear of election violence, civil war surge. All of these stories dropping. Now, first, I will say, perhaps it is the uncertainty. It is the fear of violence on every side of this political battle, be it just the left or the right, or if you want to include other fringe factions. Perhaps just fear. Nothing will really happen. Maybe a couple of media outlets realized, hey, look, we can get a lot of clicks if we say civil war. Or maybe there is some truth to the feeling that people have that something is going to happen. Rudyard Lynch runs a YouTube channel called What If Alt History. And he studies history every day. He makes amazing videos. Many find him to be particularly fascinating. We had him on Timcast IRL, and he made a prediction. He says that he has a standing bet, 1,000 dead by April for $1,000. It's shocking, I guess.
I
It's
don't
hard
know
to
about
believe.
that.
I mean, I don't even believe it. And I'm the guy who's talking about the risks and the fears of civil
Never
war all
know.
the time, right? It's hard to believe because of optimism bias and normalcy bias. But yes, maybe there is a reality here. Rudyard says that there will be domestic political violence following the election, which will result in 1,000 dead by April. And the examples that he cites are basically every revolution and civil war ever. Now, a lot of people look at what's going on in this country and they think it can't happen. The word that we see coming up from all of the experts is civil war. But perhaps there's an easier way to explain all of this. Revolution. Revolution is not necessarily going to be like the founding fathers standing up and saying, we deserve to be free of a king and govern ourselves. Revolution just means that the government changes. And revolution doesn't require two large factions fighting over control of one government. If this country sees a political crisis that results in mass violence and the ultimate toppling of the government, or the replacement or a coup or leadership change, I mean, it's a revolution. The structures may remain in place, but different people with different ideas may seize control. We don't know. So maybe civil war isn't the right way to describe it. And the only reason we are saying civil war is because we believe that this conflict will come to a head with two factions. But what if the right refuses to be involved? What if the right says, we're not going to fight over this? That's a revolution, the left wins. What if the left tries to break away and form their own structures of governance, and the right then says, we will use the power of government to stop you from doing it? Say they have the West Coast states secede from the Union, which is something they have suggested back in 2020. Now it's Democrats.
Go for it.
Then maybe you could call it a civil war.
We're keeping our military
I don't
force,
know.
though.
What I can say is there is real and legitimate concern for political violence. And there are many scenarios that could lead us to this position. That is, Donald Trump wins, and it looks like he will, but Democrats refuse to accept this. They'll claim that he cheated. They'll say that under the 14th Amendment, he's disqualified and he can't run anyway.
Yep.
The Supreme Court is corrupt and was stacked by Trump himself. I don't know. What I can tell you is it's not my idea.
They'll do what the media tells them to do.
The corporate press is pumping out these articles. And like I said, maybe they're just thinking we'll score a quick couple million views on these articles that will make us some money right before an election. Or maybe there is some truth to what this country is about to face. Several years ago, this is now about, I'd say 6 years ago, I was part of some group chats based on DC politicos and writers and reporters sharing information. And when I was talking about the possibility and potentials of civil war, as I had read these articles in the news and agreed with them, there were many pundits, politicos, journalists that were based in DC that scoffed at the idea and told me, Tim, you're ridiculous. This is never going to happen. The security state would never allow such a thing. It's fascinating because the perception was, though Donald Trump was president, he had no power whatsoever, and his supporters had no power whatsoever. Yet here we are. I remember we had one episode of Timcast IRL where Ryan Long came on the show. Well, actually, Ryan Long came on the show and we talked Civil War. And then he came on again later.
There you go.
Right when the show starts, says, hey, Tim, where's the Civil War? You had me, when I was leaving last time, I was pretty shaken up. And now here we are. Where's the Civil War? He said it was going to happen. And I said, on January 6th, 1,000 Trump supporters stormed into the Capitol and disrupted the Electoral College vote count. And the Democrats have called that an insurrection and now impaneled a group of.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. That was not the one I wanted to play, but anyways, always interesting to hear him talk about that. We all know it's gonna come from the border, right? This is the one. This is the one I wanted to play right here. Out of order. That's all right. Back to the CNN interview that bombed.
Wins on the arguments, on the merits, based on what we saw last night. Now, of course, we decided not to cover the CNN town hall with Kamala Harris, and I'll tell you why. On Timcast IRL, we decided just to have a conversation about the news because Kamala Harris says she'll use 100 words to say one thing, and often she'll use 100 words to say nothing at all. So my expectation was, and I was correct, that if we actually started doing a commentary show on the CNN town hall last night, we'd be sitting here watching someone filibuster for an hour and a half, 2 hours, learning nothing, saying nothing, and we get the point. Kamala has no plan. She can't answer questions. She is out of her mind. I have a video to play for you. I have several, actually. And when I play these videos for you, I think you will understand. One video in particular, my friends, is shocking. She's asked by Anderson Cooper on CNN, are there any mistakes you've made that you've learned from? And she just filibusters the whole thing and ends by saying, sometimes your parents make mistakes too. And, I think it's a, what? Guess what? It was so bad that CNN's panel even said, Kamala Harris has this problem where when she can't answer a question, she just goes to word salad city. She just says things. It's truly remarkable to watch someone. This is what I love about Kamala Harris. Okay, I hate it, but I'm being facetious. Is she'll say, like, you'll be like, where do you want to go get food, Kamala? And she'll be like, well, the place that I think is really great to get food, because food is important, and we always want to eat food, and it is important to eat always. Remember, it's food that we want to eat. I think it's good to go eat at a restaurant, and I think a restaurant is a good place because food is important. And you're just like, lady, what? All you did was say words that in no way had any kind of idea attached to them. She might as well just say flag, oatmeal, rudder, dog. And just I'll tell you what, I would respect Kamala Harris more if all she did was pull up a dictionary and mutter random words. That's basically what she's doing. I got to play these videos for you. And of course, she had to call Donald Trump a fascist in the town hall. She can't describe what that means or explain anything about it. I can tell you this: she does have one plan, and that plan is, I don't like Donald Trump. How that manifests, I honestly have no idea. But when she's asked over and over again, what are you going to do about this? What do you do about that? How come you supported this? How come you supported that? She goes, Donald Trump. Is that it? Yeah. They got nothing. So when the voters go to the voting booth, if this is what motivates them, we are doomed. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't see a legitimate path through the merits for Kamala Harris because she's lost her mind, or I don't know if she's ever had one. However, there's still always the shadow campaign, so nobody really knows what's going to happen. Republicans are convinced Democrats got some shady games afoot, and they probably do, which means everyone has to go vote. We are 12 days out. It's a week and a half. Tomorrow, Trump's going to be on Joe Rogan. I'm going to put my feet up, press play, sit back with some popcorn, and enjoy what will likely be the biggest podcast ever done.
Let's hope so.
Joe's the king of podcasts, man. There's no question.
So we will.
It's going to be epic. But I want to read a little bit of her responses, but I do have a video. This video is it. This video with Anderson Cooper, where he asks her, did you make any mistakes? My friends, when you hear this, your brain will fall out of your head. You will scream and bash your forehead on the table. I'm kidding, by the way. Many of you will probably just laugh. But I can't stand this stuff. We'll play the video. But before we do, we got an awesome sponsor. It's preservegold.com/Tim Pool. That's me.
All right.
Head over to Pool to report. We don't go up. Times has an exp/Tim. And about impending doom myself. I won't say how much. It's not like I'm Scrooge McDuck over here. But I will say, people think civil war means there's going to be two armies marching towards each other. Honestly, I have no idea. What I can tell you is people are losing their minds. So
again, I think he's been watching my videos.
Just take this stuff seriously, but whatever it is you do, please prepare. Let me play this clip for you guys from the CNN town hall, and you're going to go, what?
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes. And they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes.
I made a left turn.
Didn't have kids.
In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
That's
did you catch that? Okay, not only did she actually did answer the question, she answered it in probably the most honest and incredible way without actually saying anything of substance. But I'm picking up what she's putting down. You know what I'm saying? She said it's a mistake to not be well versed on the issues when you're asked a question. Anderson is like, did you ever make any mistakes in your campaign, in your personal life that you have learned from? And she's like, well, standing here completely unable to answer this question is probably a mistake. I probably should have prepared more for the question you're about to ask. And boy, do I regret it. From this point forward, I will remember I should always prepare for interviews and debates. Me, oh my. I love when she's like, hey, anybody who's got a kid, Kamala doesn't have kids. She has adult stepchildren. Anybody who's parented a kid, not you, lady. So here, check it out. In the article, they say, Newsweek says, Anderson Cooper gives Kamala Harris a bruising CNN town hall. Bruising. Look at this. Cooper asked Harris to explain her support for a bipartisan immigration deal that included $650 million in spending on a border wall. Though she previously cited the wall more than 50 times, criticized the wall more than 50 times and labeled the wall stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. She responded, so let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. Okay, this is what I call wasted words. Everybody in sales know what a wasted word is. Remember, she could have just started with, remember Donald Trump said Mexico was going to pay for the wall? Well, that's what she says. So let's talk about Donald Trump and the border wall. Remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it. Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built. Harris also used her CNN appearance to call Trump a fascist, echoing comments from John Kelly. Yeah, you know what, man? I got this really great clip from Ryan James Gerdusky, who's just breaking down like no one cares anymore. Kamala comes out the other day and she's like, Donald Trump is a fascist. She comes out on TV and does a press conference which Donald Trump says he wants generals like Hitler. And I'm like, yo, lady, I don't care. Trump could come out juggling butcher knives and just saying that he could literally say it on TV. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't believe you. It's nonsense. I'm done listening to you psychopaths. But let's take it from CNN. When Harris doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to go to Word Salad City. This is straight from the David Axelrod, former advisor to Obama on CNN. Even CNN knows that Kamala Harris is nuts.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city. And she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
A 7-minute answer. Okay, I got to pause there, David. I'm actually impressed. A 7-minute filibuster? That's not something an amateur could do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've had, Rand Paul has done like 12-hour filibusters or whatever, where he just stands there with his big stack of papers and just reads for hours to obstruct these garbage bills. Rand Paul's great. Maybe it was longer than 12 hours. I don't know. But when CNN says it, oh boy, do we have clips for you. Let's play this clip. What would you do to ensure that no other Palestinian dies due to bombs being funded by U.S. tax dollars? I almost don't want to play it because I feel like I'm wasting your time, but it's probably good that you hear it.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third-party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about
I don't think I can play this.
Much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed. And I know people and I've talked with people. So I appreciate that. But I also do know that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries.
What?
They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist. They also care about the fact that
it's just
ma'am, the
comical
question
at this
was,
point. It's so
as it
retarded.
pertains to Israel and Palestine, what do you say to third-party voters who want to go somewhere else? Well, Donald Trump is a fascist who likes dictators. Lady, okay, is that all you got? Look at this. We got so many of these. Kamala on the border. Let's fix this thing. But do you want to build a wall? I want to strengthen our border.
Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on it? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
What he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
He just built a wall and just stopped immigration. He built a wall, stopped immigration, at least stopped illegal immigration down to a trickle at best while he was building the wall. I mean, he did all this in 4 years, or 3 years, because it took him a year to get the funding to get the wall up. I mean, the lies.
That wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do.
He did. How could she even get away with saying that? He didn't do much of anything. Like that's ridiculous. Where'd the wall come from? It just brought out of the ground.
And build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Oh,
like let's just.
She'll never say wall. She'll always. I want to strengthen our border, which in her language means let more people in. And as we've seen from Line in the Sand and Muckraker documentary and whatever, there's plenty that are coming here, and there's plenty of money to be made for her and all of her buddies out there who are corrupted and part of the issue, part of the problem, part of the crisis.
Just fix this.
Hey, yo, going through these clips, okay, here we go. Oh, he got another one. Charles Down says, during her CNN town hall, Kamala says, America's immigration system is broken. We need to prioritize securing the border. Sadly, Kamala must believe voters have too little intelligence to grasp the simple fact that as borders are, her job was to secure
Chris,
the border.
how you doing?
Kamala and her Dems understand her border policy is an unpopular disaster. That's why PA Senator Bob Casey and other battleground state senators facing re-election run every time they are asked about borders are Harris. Now, this clip, I'm just going to play a little bit. But really, I have this pulled up because once again, it's word salad city. Seriously, it's like I was saying. Someone's going to be like, "What do you want to get for dinner?" Oh, dinner is a good idea. I think dinner's important because people eat it. But let's talk about dinner because dinner is something I want to talk about. Thank you for bringing it up. It's important you brought it up. I'm glad everybody's here. Glad you brought it up. Okay, dude, just tell me what you want to eat.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with, and how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Those were very specific questions. He's asking for a number, ma'am.
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed.
That's not an
and
answer.
it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border.
What we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do. Yo, she legit said, what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do.
I will tell you, I'm the only person
always prioritize what you need to prioritize, and what you need to do is what you need to do. Right? Do you guys get it? That's how it works.
Race among the two choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations.
Lies.
And that's not what he asked. He said, are we going to integrate migrants? How much will it cost? And are we paying for it? And she's like, I'm going to arrest gangs.
Look at his face. He's like, really? He goes, I'm just some kid in the audience and I could have answered better than that.
Maybe you did that, but let's just make sure we always prioritize what it is that we need to always prioritize.
Yeah, always
trafficking
prioritize
of guns, drugs, and human beings.
need to prioritize.
I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in, and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country.
And
as my opponent has proven himself, he
Lord
would
have mercy.
prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem.
She literally went nowhere near an answer there. It's like, what time is it? You know, let's talk about the time, because we should
What
always be
time?
talking about what time it is so
Yeah,
that we
talk
know what
about
time
more
it is.
time.
And I'm the only one up here with a clock. Now, my clock is actually, I have a clock right in front of me. It's an Ivation digital clock that I use to keep track of segment time and show times and things like that so that I'm able to see what the time it is. And it's important that we know what time is. Now, you're asking me what the time is, and I didn't answer, and I'm not going to. Thank you, and have a nice day. Yo, this is wild. I got too many of these clips. Oh, no. Look at this one. We got another one. I may not have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy because I'm going to research it. I'm kind of a nerd. Check this out.
So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue.
Okay, imagine her just answering Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin or any other world leader like this.
Sometimes because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes.
Yes. Of course you are nerd. You are nerd, Kamala. Of course we know. Now we take your country.
So I mean,
Yo, when they asked Donald Trump if he was going to repeal Obamacare, what would he do? Does he have a plan? He says, well, we have concepts of a plan. But he said, we're not going to get rid of it unless we do have something solid in place. And she made fun of him. She's like, concepts of a plan. The Democrats came out and said, Trump has concepts of a plan.
Evil.
Yeah. Lady, you're like, I don't even have any kind of answer. Trump's being honest, and he's like, we have concepts of a plan. They're not going to get rid of Obamacare unless they have something that functions and works. And that makes sense. Certainly, I think that's a better answer than, I may not have an answer because I'm a nerd and I want to research the issue. Well, at least Donald Trump says, we do want to get rid of it, but we need a working plan first. So far, we only have concepts of a plan. Okay. Not a great answer, in my opinion, honestly, but I get it. He's not prepared. He basically said, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. This, oh, heavens me. I'm only halfway through. Here we go. Oh, no, we got more. Anderson Cooper on codifying Roe v. Wade. If it's not possible to codify in the House, what do? I think we take a look at the filibuster.
Let me ask you, you've talked about codifying Roe v. Wade. That would obviously require 60 votes in the Senate, a majority of the House. That's a big leap. We don't have that yet. If that's not possible to codify it in the House, what do you do?
I think we need to take a look at the filibuster, to be honest with you.
Let me ask you.
What? Dude, I'm loving this. Let me break this down in layman's terms. Imagine you said something like, Tim, we want to restore Friday pizza night. And then I just went, I got a car. You'd be like, what? Are you implying you're going to drive to get pizza? I mean, there's some potential. Are you saying you're going to go drive? What? I think we take a look at the filibuster. What about it? What does that have to do with Roe v. Wade? Okay, you need a majority to get these things passed. You're saying we're going to just fill up. Nothing's going to get passed.
You're going to be a dictator about it. A dictator.
What? These ladies nuts. Here we go. This one's easy.
You've quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
She called
I do. Yes, I do. Well, do you know what it means? No, I don't. No, I don't.
That's just earlier. We saw the clip.
I do.
Yes, I do. You know what I would have said if I was Anderson Cooper? Interesting. Can you define fascist? Can you explain to me the origins of the word, the term, and the ideology? What was the symbol of the fascists in Europe? Do you know anything about fascism? How did the economic system, how is it perceived to have worked? What's the difference between fascists and Nazis? Do you know the difference, or do you just lump them all together? Because if the Democrats have called Trump Hitler and a fascist and Stalin.
Right.
Yeah, the Atlantic said he's speaking like Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini at once. That would make him a fascist, communazi. These are three different ideologies, though. They're all relatively
Voltron, all the parts come together into the ultimate reflection of who they really are.
similar in their authoritarianism. How fun.
Yeah.
So the Trump campaign put out this ad. I kid you not, my friends. When Kamala Harris is asked what her weaknesses are, she goes, actually, I think it's a strength. No one asked you what your strength is.
Perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength.
Well, my weaknesses are actually strengths.
Oh, yes, indeed. That's right, of course.
There you go.
Yep.
I really do value having a team of very smart people around me.
To tell me what to do because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I work too hard.
Work too hard and
too much. And
you're too much.
I have to be too invested in my job.
Yeah.
Perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength.
It's a strength. I surround myself with very smart people. What? That's a weakness that you know, this lady is out of her mind. Now let's take it up. Let's take a look at CNN panelist Ryan James Gerdusky. I think it's important to just play the clip for you guys. It is 2 minutes long, but hear what he has to say.
I have a feeling that there are a number of voters who are hearing so many things about Trump. They're hearing the claims, they're hearing the statements, they're hearing about members of the cabinet saying no can do, no will do again. And then you hear Trump's campaign saying this is false. President Trump never said any of this. I mean, Trump, though, tonight praised authoritarian leaders, China's Xi, Russia's Putin. Listen to this.
Can you imagine what President Xi, you know, I got to know him very well. He's a fierce individual. He runs 1.4.
How's that? Praise.
An iron fist. Am I allowed to say he's smart? He's smart. He's a smart man.
How is that praise?
He's a fierce.
I'll say this too before we jump into Ryan's commentary. Democrats can't understand fact statements that are positive and praise. I think praise would be something like, I think what he does is good. He's successful and I like what he's doing. Fact statement is to say, Lex Luthor is smart. Yeah, he's a super villain, but come on. And this is what the Democrats do. They say Donald Trump is a moron. He's an idiot. And I'm like, well, he's clearly not. Y'all need to read some Sun Tzu. You're underestimating your opponents way too much. So here we go.
Many people have an issue with appraising of any kind of either of these two leaders. Does the fact that he appears to have a strong affinity for those who are authoritarians in the leadership, is that deniable at this point?
Well, in the clip you showed, he didn't praise them. He just called Xi smart, which is the only praise he gave them.
Well, it's not an insult.
It's not okay. Well, it's not, but it's not praise either, which is what you said it was, which it wasn't. But according to the Jeffrey Goldberg article, which we talked about this entire night, you can't trust that article because the quote 60,000 for an effing Mexican funeral. The only two on-record sources both said that he didn't say that. The only source is an anonymous source, and the family of the deceased soldier said that he was lovely to them, and in fact, they voted for Donald Trump today. That's how much they disagree.
That's we can't smear him if we don't do it that way.
And they said it was a disrespectful article that politicized the death of their loved one. And Jeffrey Goldberg did not care about printing something that they had no sources on the record for. And I honest to God, like most Americans, do not care General Kelly's farewell tour where he tries to make amends for working for Donald Trump, since Democrats said we're going to run all these Republicans who work for Trump out of town unless they somehow make peace. So 2 weeks before Election Day, he runs to liberal journalist Susan Glasser about a conversation that allegedly happened 4 years ago. It doesn't pass a smell test. And that is why people are
Kelly's not credible anyways.
Ryan Gerdusky may save CNN. They're trying to reform. They're desperate. They knew that they went too much into Wacky World, and so they brought him on. Their hosts are flabbergasted because they live still in Wacky World, but this guy's laying down some truth. That's where we're currently at. Now, I love this clip because Kamala Harris called Donald Trump saying he wanted generals that were like Hitler. Trump War Room says, posting this clip from CNN where Jennings says,
I'm for it.
It probably will shock Kamala and her campaign staff to learn their incumbent Democrat senators right now running ads touting all the work they've done with the so-called modern day Hitler. One of my favorite memes going around right now is all the different photos of Trump throughout the years, like appearing on TV shows in Fresh Prince or something. I don't know if he was on Fresh Prince, probably. Actually, I'm pretty sure he was. And they're like, Hitler appears at, actually, I think it was Fresh Prince. And they're just like, look where the modern day Hitler is now. I got too many clips here. I got too many. We'll have to save it for the next segment. And
thanks so much.
Just show you right now, Polymarket's got Trump at 62.3. Kamala's spiraling. 538 has Trump predicted to win at 52.8%. I'm sorry, that was Nate Silver. 530 has him at 51%. And of course, in the battlegrounds, Trump is winning. My friends,
look at
that.
And out
we
there,
said here,
okay, enough. Out there, they're trying to say that she's tied in Georgia, tied with him in Georgia, all this stuff like that. It ain't happening. They're gonna try to propagandize you. The mainstream media is with bullshit, trying to create the false perception that they're doing well. I hope they say, yeah, well, that's a close race, so they got to get out there and make sure they all vote. We're way ahead, I think, right now in a lot of places. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that keeping them from having to count on election night, keeping the polls kind of light on election night is a good thing. That way they can't complain about, well, there's too many people. We're going to keep on counting them forever. We're going to see who's trying the most on, who's complaining the most on election night. I do have to report that when I did go to vote today, the machine didn't spit my ballot out this time. Usually it spits my ballot out and I have to re-put it back in or whatnot. And I don't know if it's because I went to a different location, because I went to an early voting location today. Maybe that's why. The lady says, I know this machine, it doesn't do that. I was like, all right, cool. So that's good news. That's good news. All right, let's move on to our next segment here. Get rid of this one. All right. So are you guys I never saw who's shared out. I saw T-Rex got his mom here to watch that Line in the Sand. Anybody else share it out? Did you guys, anybody else send it to someone important? Anybody else send it to someone that hasn't voted yet? do that little bit of work, and you may actually come back and tell us that you turned the vote around. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And you would get gold stars and many cookies, and good things will happen to you, and you'll probably win the lottery. All right, whatever it takes, just do it. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's run through some rig watching. This one's great. This will take things in a new direction here. All right. Paul Joseph Watson. I don't have him on a lot because he's got his face right in the camera. I guess that some people like it, but the story is too good. I couldn't hold on to it. Rig watch, the weirdest October surprise ever. Yes, and I will make sure it's not too big. There we go. Here we go.
To pass, it'll undoubtedly be if this comes to pass, it'll undoubtedly be the weirdest October surprise ever. Professor Simon Holland, who previously worked with NASA producing space
looks very credible, right?
Documentaries, claims there'll be a huge major announcement within weeks, revealing the discovery of an intelligent alien civilization on a another planet. Holland claims he stumbled on the most world-changing piece of news in recorded history, specifically that he's received information via Mark Zuckerberg's Breakthrough Listen, a project aimed at detecting evidence of intelligent life beyond Earth, that an object called BLC-1 has been broadcasting a signal through a narrow electromagnetic spectrum, which shows evidence of being a transmission by an intelligent alien species. According
guys, dun dun dun.
To the report, two rival teams of astronomers, one based in the UK and the US, another based in China, are racing to confirm that the signal is indeed evidence of an alien civilization before.
Please try it. Please try it. Please. I've been waiting for the alien invasion forever. I've been waiting for it. Please try it.
Announcing it to the world. Crucially, Holland states, quote, "It would be wonderful if it coincided with the first woman in the White House," and that the
Why would that? I mean, come on. Like, this isn't like all right.
Timing of the announcement is likely to coincide with the US election, suggesting that if any such announcement is made right before the election, it'll serve to boost Kamala's chances of winning the presidency. It seems.
Okay, how is that possible? I don't see how that would even work out. You got Trump, who created Space Force, and he has Elon Musk on the team. I mean, how is an alien invasion going to help Kamala? I don't know.
Abundantly clear that such a monumental revelation is only likely to reflect well on whoever is in the White House, and would all but extinguish the positive hype generated by Elon Musk's endorsement of Donald Trump, particularly after this past weekend's successful landing of the Starship rocket back onto its launch pad. But given the political point scoring on offer for Kamala, should this alien civilization announcement arrive before November 5th, is it legit? The short answer is no, probably not. The professor acknowledges that the supposedly non-human technological signature was first picked up by the Parkes telescope in Australia in 2019. But as astronomer Marianne Rudnick points out, the whole thing appears to be a false alarm, because research at the time strongly suggested that the alien signal was actually produced by a broken piece of human technology. So it looks like this whole huge announcement story is just another piece of reheated fake news. But given how
Okay, so like remember that if it comes out.
How desperate Harris is to claw back her diminishing support, will the White House just go ahead and seize upon this alien civilization narrative anyway, despite its overwhelmingly dubious nature?
You have nothing to lose. Just do it.
Not much outstrips what Elon Musk just achieved, but claiming actual evidence of the existence of ET on your watch certainly falls into that bracket.
That's cool. We got 26 views on BitChute. That's 26 people that have either watched it over there or shared it out to people. So that's awesome. I am going to release that. I think I already did I made it public instead of unlisted, but I have 0 subscribers on BitChute. So there's no reason why anybody would ever see it on BitChute unless I told them about it. But it's going. Let me see here real quick. This isn't always the accurate count. But where's it at right now? Oh yeah, here we go. Is it broken 600 yet? It's probably. I mean, it's YouTube's usually like the studio's usually like 20 behind or 40 behind or something like that. So it's close to breaking 600 views, which is phenomenal. That means 600 people that saw it that wouldn't have seen it, that haven't seen it, and maybe didn't even know about it. And a lot of people on X are reposting it as well. A lot of people that I've had no idea who they were. They just happened to see it, dropping a lot of great comments about it and reposting it and telling their reach, the people that are following them, to please take a look at this. So that's really key. So I'm digging that, man. Thanks so much to everybody out there that did that. That's part of that. All right. And so evidently all you need to do to get reach on X now is put red sirens in your title. I'm going to make sure I do that from now on. Evidently, if you're just sitting there with a dog crapping into a bowl, you can put a red sirens on your title, and people will watch it. Actually, they'll click in, they'll click out. That's what they'll do. Anyways, I think one day you're gonna look at X and you're just gonna see red sirens everywhere. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I will continue to add more and more as I go. There we go. That's Paul Joseph Watson. And let's see, that's the first one we got rid of. Now this is the one that Thomas was talking about earlier, and that's going around that we really need to pay attention to. So that the alien invasion's all fun and good, right? But this is the one we really need to pay attention to. This is the one that could happen, I guess, becomes more plausible. Right. Yeah, it's still up. I can't believe it. We somehow it's okay. Maybe Tucker decided it was all right. Maybe they heard my message at the beginning and I changed their mind, or maybe I just hit it so well instead of a bunch of other stuff that it will it'll stay up. I don't know. I hope so. At least the election, and then whatever. But I mean, then hopefully it helps turn some votes around. It helps get people on the right page about it. I mean, I still think the education that should be there. People need to understand it. Like I said, when I went to the Trump rally, a lot of people, most of the people there hadn't even heard of it. They weren't even advertising it there. They should have been advertising it everywhere. I don't understand why they're not doing that. So maybe I should be working for the campaign, and I should be in the marketing department, because they need a little help. They're good at bugging you with text messages for donations, but when it comes to and the ads have been really good too. The format's been improving at the rallies. I like that he's pitching to his ads. That's a good way to use them. I think that's smart, but I still think there could be more. There should be more documentary advertisement. I mean, our whole crowd, the alternative narrative, the second veil, that the documentaries and things like that are long form content is what we're about. We're about research. We want answers. We want to see, we want the awareness. We want the research. We want things to consider. We want more and more and more and more and more. We're very much information consumers on this side, whereas the first veil people are kind of like establishment narrative, mind control victims. They just want sound bites and they want to go get high. That's pretty much it. That's the first veil. Or drink or do something besides pay attention to reality, right? They want to live in their own little bubble of imagination land. Is what it is. And don't you dare disturb it, because that will make them very upset and they'll call you names. It's just 540 views on YouTube. The behind the scenes, like you got like a YouTube studio view and you have the analytic view. And if you look at the analytic view, it's usually about 40 views higher than what you see on YouTube. Like they slowly trickle in. So like over course of time, that'll get added to. Right now we're on the 48 hour mark. So some of the analytic views for the last 48 hours will start to drop off, but I'll look at all time. I kind of keep track of it because I'm looking at it like, like I said, it's not monetized or anything like that. I've got like maybe 10 new subscribers from it, but that's good. I mean, I'm happy that people see the content and they want to help the channel out. But really, what it's about is I just want people to see it, as many people to see it, one form or another, before the election, just to know that we did our part. This is the one thing we can really do to really just snap people out of a long slumber they've been under, make them realize they're being lied to by the establishment, lied to by Kamala Harris, lied to by the mainstream media, that the problem runs deep, that Americans are involved and bribed and complacent in child abduction and trafficking. There's so many things that need to be exposed about this, that Border Patrol in a lot of instances are complacent or not, or just like, apathetic to it at this point. There's a lot of that going on. Like, some people are making for these jobs are making like what high paid, long, hard working information technology professionals are making. I mean, people that are high paying jobs, are high skilled jobs are making for, like, sitting in a truck near the border and not arresting people unless someone tells you to do it. It's like, or something like that, or just transporting kids from one place to another because every kid gets somebody on the other end of, a ton of money. Right. And they're just going along with it, shuttling kids all night long. And they know they're shuttling them into a dangerous situation, and they're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. Meanwhile, so many good people with good hearts are struggling. They're struggling every day. Bills are high. The inflation has the price of just everyday life is expensive. Groceries high. Gas is high. So many things are high, right? The prices are, and we're struggling just to get by. Right. Meanwhile, the economy being in a mess makes there less high skilled jobs out there available, and the ones that are there, people are not moving on. They're sticking with, or their companies are downsizing. Companies are hiring less, paying less when they hire. And it's a trickle down. It's the worst kind of trickle down effect ever. And yet these people who are breaking the law and doing these dirty deeds are getting paid the most right now. And that sucks. And that documentary helps expose that too. Right. That's another thing that's great about it. All right. So let's get to this. This is if Trump wins, the Dems try this strategy, total chaos will ensue. This is the one we're going to have to really watch from November 5th until inauguration day. We're going to have to watch this one like a hawk. All right. We'll see if they try it.
Our world could change due to several global events in the next few weeks. Here to tell us what to keep an eye on is Jim Rickards. He's a strategic intelligence editor and New York Times bestselling author, and his latest book is Money GPT. He joins us right now. So, Jim, let's start with the election. Early voting is underway in many states. So how do you see this shaping?
This election is 2 weeks away, right? And what law tubers are actually out there doing anything? Nick Rekieta said, like, I can't believe how much division there is in the country. It's because you have your head up your ass, dude. That's why you don't know, because you've been too busy getting high and getting drunk and trying to have sex and I mean, that's why you don't know why people are divided today, because you don't know shit, dude. Like, all these lawyers, I mean, I don't get it. And the Good Logic is the only one who gives a shit. That's why I support Joe Neerman. He's the only one that out of all these dudes who give a fuck. And I've seen it, MLS seems to want things to go the right way, but I'm talking about people who spend their time and use their reach to actually put out a message to motivate people to save this country. There's so many people out there right now that are just farting around, and they're just wasting your time with bullshit that doesn't mean a fucking thing. And it pisses me off, man. I mean, it really pisses me off. And they're playing trucking simulators. Oh, look at me, guys. I'm driving a truck. At least Treerex does it for real, right? And people won't tune in to watch them drive a real truck, but they're going to watch some overpaid YouTuber sit around and pay a trucking simulator when they could be spending their time motivating people to go to the polls. They can be showing important documentaries to help educate people. They don't know shit. They really don't know shit. And it's just like, the whole thing pisses me off, man. Right now, that's why I love my crowd right here. It's like, you guys at least give a shit. You show up. You want to make the world a better place. You care. I know that you're out there working hard to try to let people know. At least you're building your own education. You're building your own knowledge base up so that you're ready to jump in and do something when you need to. Right? I know that you're all going to vote and you're all going to do the right thing, right? Because you're here. You're part of the solution. These other guys, man, I swear to God, I look around at some of the people I used to hang out with and some of the people that are around this scene. And it's like, okay, I get it. You want to grift and you want to try to make your little money so you don't have to go get a real job, right? But, for just a couple weeks out of every 4 years, a couple weeks, dedicate your damn reach that you built up by wasting people's time to fucking putting it towards good use. I mean, I'm sick of it. I hold this back all the time. I hold this back all the time because I'm going to play nice and be going to nice. That doesn't do me any good. It really doesn't. I mean, you see them helping me out, right? I mean, even if they're too chicken shit to put on their own channel, right? Even if they're too chicken shit too big of a pussies to put on their own channel and do some good for the country, right? They at least point people over here. Well, I'll do it for them. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. Don't worry. You sit there and try to act like you're neutral about things, right? I don't want to offend nobody. I might not get enough views and likes. It's like, fuck that shit. At the end of the day, I'll burn this whole fucking thing down for this country, man. I'll burn it all down, dude. I don't care. That's why I'm not sitting out here dancing around going, look at me, look at me. I want to save this country for our future, for our kids, for them, for the people who go out there and work hard and do good. And so the ugly, selfish, narcissistic people that are out there brainwashed, too self-consumed to look at anything outside of the little imagination land narrative, right? So that they don't win. We need to win. You people deserve to win. It deserves to be our reality, not theirs, right? Not a fucking destructive dystopian future where kids can't even go outside and play because there's too many criminals running around, right? My kid can't go riding his bike around. There's no neighborhood kids around here. There's nothing, and that's been his childhood because of them, because people have their heads up their ass, right? Because people are so self-absorbed. Oh, look at me. I'm just entertaining myself. It's like, dude, fucking do something. But I don't complain. I don't complain, and it's fine. I get it. All right. I get it. Everybody's trying to make a dime. Everybody's trying to make a dollar. Everybody's trying to hook themselves up, right? But it's like, for just a couple fucking weeks, dedicate yourself to the cause for just a couple weeks. Do something. Show who you are. Don't be a chicken shit, right? Don't waste people's times for a couple weeks. Just a couple weeks, right? And none of them can do it. They're playing games and showing bullshit and showing how other people's lives suck. That's how they make money. That's good for you guys. Good job, guys. I'm so proud of you. Let's get back to this shit that matters.
Being up.
Well, that's right. Early voting is underway. The best estimates are that about 2/3 of the voters will vote early, whether it's mail-in, absentee, Dropbox, lots of different channels. And perhaps only 1/3 of the American people will vote on Election Day, which means the election could be half over right now and will probably be over to all intents and purposes before Election Day. We won't know the results. They won't open a lot of the ballots and count them, et cetera, until Election Day. But it's pretty much over. It's one reason you're seeing such intensity really in both the Trump and the Harris campaign. I would say Trump's probably doing a better job in that regard. And the other thing that people are asking themselves is, why the heck is Trump going to California, New York, and Virginia, and other states where he certainly won't win California or New York. Virginia's a little bit closer, but why is he spending time there? The answer is they're really trying to help the House of Representatives. They're trying to keep some of these House seats. The Republicans took a bare majority in 2022. But a lot of those seats were in New York and California, about 5 in each state, and they want to hang on to those and expand that so they can keep the House of Representatives. That's really important in terms of what the Democrats are going to do to disqualify Trump, even if he wins the election on November 5th. So there's a lot of things going on behind the curtain, but it's close to right now. I would best estimate I have my own proprietary models, but of course I look at others. I've got Trump as a winner, and what's probably going to be a tight race, but the Democrats take the House, they'll be moving to disqualify him on January 5th.
Jim, let's talk about that a little bit, because I think there's no way around volatility increasing either way, as we go forward. So let's talk about that period between, voting day and inauguration day. What do you think is going to happen during that time?
Sure, and it's a great question, and a lot of Americans aren't familiar with it, and there's no reason they should be. It's pretty technical stuff. You have to delve into the Constitution and the 12th Amendment and so forth. But there are three altogether, ending on January 6, 2025. We hear endlessly about January 6, 2021. Okay, we know what happened, but January 6, 2025 will be a big deal. So here's how it goes. So on Election Day, it's November 5th. We get the results. We may not know until November 6th or November 7th. If they're fighting how to count ballots or qualifying absentee ballots, their signatures match. There's a lot of technicalities there. They could be fighting over that in places like Pennsylvania and Arizona and Georgia for several days. So maybe November 7th is the day they kind of actually announce a winner. But it's not over. As Yogi Berra said, it's not over till it's over. You've got two critical dates in December. One is when the electors actually vote for president in each state capital. We think we're voting for Trump or Harris when we go to the polls. What we're doing, we're voting for a slate of pledged electors who will then support Trump or Harris. So indirectly, we're really voting for those electors. So I think it's around December 11th. It could be up by a day or two. Those electors go into the state capitals and vote for president. And then there's another, but you could have a fight right there. Are the electors qualified? Do the Democrats claim that the Republican electors were not properly elected because of irregularities, disqualifying illegal immigrants from the voting rolls? We see that going on in Virginia. So there could be a lot of fights right there. Then about a week later, I believe it's December 17th, again, give or take a day, the state official, the governor or the secretary of state, as the case may be, certify those electors, those electoral votes, but they're actually people. I mean, they can count them as votes. The numbers matter, but they're actually people. And then certify that and send it to Washington. Then you come to January 6th, 2025, and that's when the Congress counts those votes and declares a final winner. And the Senate does the vice president, and the House of Representatives does the president. Now, here's the thing. The Senate and House I just mentioned, it's the new Senate and House. It's not the existing Senate and House. It's whoever wins on November 5th. They get sworn in on January 3rd. This process I described, a final declaring a winner, is January 6th. Well, on January 4th, and they've already announced this, Jamie Raskin, member of Congress from Maryland, Democrat, is going to introduce a resolution to declare Trump an insurrectionist under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.
I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, dude. I mean, really. They're going to do that. I'm going to declare him an insurrectionist, even though we've already been over it. That's election interference, in my opinion. That's election interference. Like, that guy should be thrown out of office for election interference, for trying to even suggest that he's going to do something like this. That's complete bullshit. I don't know what is this, the guy from Maine, the little squirrely cuck from Maine? Is that who this guy is? Like, he should be locked up for insurrection. That's what he should be. He's an insurrectionist. That's what he is. He's the one, not Crump, because he's trying to interfere with an election, and evidently that's the new definition, right? So he's gonna, after all this time, right, between the time that Donald Trump wins the presidency and the time he's supposed to be sworn in, he's gonna then try to say he's an insurrectionist. After all this time, after 4 years, there's no way this should even be entertained. He should be laughed out the door when he tries to do this, and then he should have his ass kicked, literally held down by the Republicans, and just have his head bashed in, because he should never be doing this stuff. This is this kind of like, I mean, he should be thrown in jail. No, honestly, throw him in jail, lock him up, because that's the kind of thing an insurrectionist would do. Try to create some bullshit like that when he's had 4 years to do it. I don't know. I'm just being silly, but honestly, he should be laughed out of the house. He should be laughed out all the way out to his car. I mean, they should just follow him and point at him and laugh. And JD Vance should be carrying a bell, ringing it, going, shame, shame. And they should just march him to his car, right? And say, get out of here, don't come back. We don't want your parking spot's gone. We're giving it away to the janitor. You don't get to park here. You can park down in the ghetto that you created. All right. Now, honestly, I mean, how is this douchebag going to get away with doing this between the time of inauguration and the time, election and inauguration? Oh, well, now he's an insurrectionist. What a wuss.
This was a post-Civil War amendment designed to disqualify Confederate officers and politicians from holding federal office. That's what it says. But it doesn't say Confederate. That was the purpose. But here it is 100 years later. That's still the law. So if you declare Trump an insurrectionist, you could disqualify him from holding federal office, which means his electors won't count. Now, you could have a situation where Trump has, I'll use round numbers, 300 electoral votes, and Kamala Harris has 235 electoral votes. That's an electoral college landslide. But if you disqualify Trump on this insurrection clause, what happens next? Well, the Constitution, now we're in the 12th Amendment, not the 14th Amendment, and it says that this election is then thrown to the House of Representatives. But it goes on to say that the members of the House can only vote for one of the top 3 electoral vote getters. Well, in the scenario I just outlined, there's only going to be one, which is Kamala Harris. If you disqualify Trump, and nobody has 270, but nobody has any more either. There's nobody else other than Kamala Harris who has any electoral votes. So at that point, you could be in a position where even the Republicans have to vote for Kamala Harris, because under the 12th Amendment, she's the only one. I mean, they say top 3. You could have if anyone, George Wallace won electoral votes in 1968, but this isn't 1968. So she's the only one you can vote for. So the question is, would the Republicans be forced to vote for Kamala Harris because that's the only choice given to them by the 12th Amendment? Meanwhile, what's going on in the Senate? The Senate should just, in this scenario, just declare J.D. Vance the vice president. So you could have a situation where you have Kamala Harris as president and J.D. Vance as vice president, which is exactly what happened in 1800, by the way, between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr. They were different parties, hated each other, but they were the president and the vice president, the way it worked. Now, here's the twist. Here's the thing to look for. Hopefully the Republicans are smart enough to figure this out. The 12th Amendment also says that the process I just described cannot take place if there's not a quorum. So all the Republicans have to do is go out on the mall and stand in the snow, and that would cause the House not to have a quorum, and you couldn't pick a president because there's no quorum. Then you say, well, then what happens? What happens next? Well, the 12th Amendment says in that situation, the vice president becomes the acting president. So you could actually have J.D. Vance as acting president on January 7, 2025. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds far-fetched, but think about what we've been through recently. We've had 2 attempted assassinations, a coup d'etat on Joe Biden, a faceplant debate at the end of June between Biden and Trump. Everything that's happened so far, this doesn't seem a stretch, but it's all there in the 14th Amendment and the 12th Amendment.
I'm so glad you just laid that out, because it's something I think about a lot. And I think everyone else needs to start thinking about it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so that's the situation that's going on in the United States right now. Globally, there is a huge meeting. The BRICS start meeting tomorrow in Russia. So Jim, I know you know all about this. Is this the next Bretton Woods? What should we be expecting from this meeting?
Well,
all right. So that's the part about them, how they're going to try to do their little rigging game after the fact, after they lose. Yeah, okay, I got the right mic on. All right, that's how they're going to do it, right? Evidently, that's the one we have to watch for, I guess, when we win. We have to watch for before that is bullshit at the polls, right? So let's see how that's going. Let's see. Oh, here's one.
To process ballots sooner than election day.
More options to. Did you catch that? What was that? What? Rig? Probably. Shame on you for blatantly lying to the public. You only plan to remove ineligible.
Here's a guy. He's a lawyer, right? Here's a guy who's doing it, man. Robert, I didn't mention you earlier. Robert Gravea, dedicating his time for the right cause right now, using his audience in the right way. Using his reach in the right way. To get the message out to save the country. So he has a country he can practice law in. How about that? That makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, this guy is doing so incredible work, man. So props to Robert. I hope I get to meet him one day. He's a cool dude. And yeah, he's a lawyer. And look at that. He knows what's up. At least he's doing it right. He's setting an example. Joe at Good Logic Nearman is setting an example, right, of what you should be doing when you have the blessed fortune of having a LawTube channel, right? At this time, he's dedicating his time right now to going over things that people need to know about. And he's keeping an eye on the rig better than anybody else.
Voters after this election.
If someone were to violate the law and not certify the election at the local level, we will come for you.
Whoa!
So any local certifier thinking of skirting the law and not certifying the vote, don't even think about it.
The secretaries are announcing that election results may not come in on election night. We got used to that in prior elections in America, where we would go to bed and we would know who the president was. We wouldn't have to let this thing linger on and on and on, while the secretaries had to delay things so that they could assemble the necessary votes to close the margin. So we would wake up the next morning and lo and behold, we'd have a different president than the one we suspected
calling it out
actually won. And so Jocelyn Benson, we saw, was responsible for a lot of nonsense last time in 2020. She's still in charge in Michigan, a pretty important state, filing lawsuits, defending lawsuits, changing a bunch of stuff in the election manual. And we've already talked about other lawsuits here against her that she's lost, thankfully, where she tried to say that there was a presumption of validity for signatures as they came through, meaning she was trying not to check the signatures at all until a judge told her you have to. So now what she's saying is that we're not going to know on election night, but in fact that we should know on Wednesday, the day after election day. Isn't that fun and convenient? And Michigan's a pretty important state. And you start adding these all up. And as we'll see, we've got Raffensperger, who is saying the same thing, except he's talking about it in the context of the Uvalcava ballots that are not going to be coming in until Friday. So we've got these two clips from Raffensperger when he was back on with Face the Nation, saying the same thing, that all the overseas ballots must come in no later than Friday. Well, I still think
there's a bunch of overseas ballots we got to worry about. And guess what? He didn't get a lot of props at the rally. He didn't get a lot of the crowd doesn't like Brad.
On Tuesday. All right. So you see what they're already forecasting for us. And my friends, we saw a lot of this last night. Okay. Just to be clear about this, they told us on election night, remember they called it the red wave, the red mirage. They said, just get ready for this. Trump's going to look like he's winning. Then we're going to be printing ballots and dropping them off. And then the margins will close after the election night is over. And so it's called pre-suasion. There's a guy who wrote an entire book about it. And his name is the guy called Cialdini, Robert Cialdini, who wrote the book Influence. They're pre-suading, they're pre-butting any criticisms. And so here's what she's saying. She's making the rounds.
That might be an interesting book to listen to. I'll check that book out.
Jocelyn's all over the place, and she just won a big victory on these UOCAVA ballots we'll talk about later. But here is what she said over on Face the Nation.
Well, in 2020, we had the results of our highest turnout election in Michigan history within 24 hours of the polls closing. The unofficial results were completed by 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So we're tracking that again this year. We do have more options to process ballots sooner than Election Day.
More options to... Did you catch that? What was that? We've got more options to... what? Rig, probably?
We're tracking that again this year. We do have more options to process ballots sooner than Election Day, which is where...
Process. Yeah. A lot more options to process the ballots this year. Got it.
I mean, dude, does she look trustworthy to you? How does she get one eye open bigger than the other? I don't know.
Restricted in 2020. So I'm optimistic we could see results even sooner, but I would estimate end of the day on Wednesday as the best guess on how we'll perform. But that said, we will always...
What was that called? What was that called? We're best guess by Wednesday. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. I don't trust this woman at all.
Prioritize accuracy and security over efficiency. Understanding how much people will want those results. We're still going to make sure the process is secure and accurate before we put anything out to the public. But that said, we understand people's energy and excitement, and we'll be working hard to ensure those results are ready as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. So that's Jocelyn. Now, we've been following her for a long time. I think she is a dishonest person who is not interested in free and fair elections at all. In my opinion, I think that she is somebody who is a Democratic hack and an operator for their party, just like anybody else is. She just happens to have the title called Secretary of State, but she's no different than AOC or Nancy Pelosi, actually. She's a pretty competent person. So Nancy Pelosi, I think, is probably a good comparison. She just happens to be in a Secretary of State position and feigns that she's apolitical. Obviously, she's not. So we had some reaction to her and to all of this stuff. She posted in response to Elon. Elon was on X saying, hey, Jocelyn, shame on you for blatantly lying to the public. You only plan to remove ineligible voters after this election, because she said Elon's spreading misinfo. She said, here are the facts, okay? There aren't more voters than citizens in Michigan, okay? There are 7.2 million active registered voters, and there's 7.9 million, I guess, citizens of voting age in our state. Musk is pushing a misleading number that includes 1.2 million inactive records slated for removal in accordance with the law. And so Elon even asked about this, said, hey, Michigan has more registered voters than eligible citizens. Is that true? And so Community Notes said Michigan had 7.9 million voting age citizens. Yeah, apparently. 7.9 million voting age citizens, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, from Community Notes, and 8.3 million registered voters. Wow. 606,000 inactive voters are set to be removed by 2027. Okay. So I guess Elon's right. State and federal laws require officials to wait 2 federal elections before removal. And so she's like, no, we're just waiting for this. And so she said, hey, don't feed the...
There's more people more people than in the state that are registered that have to wait.
Trolls, okay? I'm just following the law. And she's, I guess, correcting this Community Notes. Now, Community Notes from X is citing these sources. So Michigan, Bridge, MI, federalregister.gov. So right, so you can click those, follow through to verify and vet data. But this is what's showing up here. Now, she's saying that's not true. My numbers are better than your numbers. Musk is pushing a misleading number that includes 1.2 million inactive records slated for removal in accordance with the law. Don't feed the trolls. Check out my election facts. So Elon blasted back. He said, hey, Jocelyn, shame on you for blatantly lying to the public. You only plan to remove the ineligible voters after this election. That necessarily means that there are far more people registered to vote than there are eligible voters. And she says, hi, Elon, in Michigan, we tell the truth and we follow the law. And the follow the law crap is what you say when you want to do something that is publicly unpalatable. And Kamala did that same line when she was talking to Brett Baer. He's like, do you really want to give illegals free trans surgeries? So why I follow the law? Well, do you want to do that? So why follow the law? I know, but like, you're the president, so you get to enforce. Well, I just follow the law. Okay,
yeah, follow the law. Just doing my job.
Thanks. I suggest you do the same, says Jocelyn. Or what? Are you going to refer him for criminal prosecution or what, Jocelyn? For everyone else, she leads us over to michigan.gov/election facts. And so then Elon responded to that and said, are you removing ineligible voters before the election? Yes or no? It's very simple. Are you going to remove them before the election? Yes or no? Obviously, the answer is going to be no. And so Jocelyn responded to this. Thanks for asking. Doesn't answer. Says, here's an explainer of all we do to ensure that our database is accurate. Says, Michigan, since 2019, the Bureau of Elections has canceled more than 800,000 inactive voter registrations and identified more than 600 600,000 others slated for cancellation in 2025 and 2027.
There you
So
go.
the answer is no. There are 600,000 on there that are going to, I guess, get ballots this year. They're going to be canceled. Are they getting ballots? Are they on hold? Let's see. State and federal law qualified. When the election mail is sent, the clerk will send the notice of registration cancellation. If the voter does not respond, yeah, they can still vote, but they are marked inactive. They can still vote, but if they do not vote or contact the clerk's office, then it's canceled. Yeah, it's great. So 600,000 people, she admits it right here in her own stupid post. Yeah, they're still gonna get ballots. So why they've identified that they're slated for cancellation. So yeah, they've got, as it stands, right? It sounds like as it stands this election cycle, 600,000 are slated for cancellation. And let's go back even to her own numbers on that. So if she told us, if we parse this back a bit, we tell the truth, shame on you, Jocelyn, 7.2 million. Okay, so 7.2 million active registered voters and 7.9 million citizens of voting age. So I guess she's saying then that it's 7. So if we add 600,000 right to that number, 7.2 plus 6 is going to be 7.8, which means her numbers are, it's 7.8 according to her own admissions, 7.8 million active registered voters, but there's 7.9 million citizens of voting age. That means that in Michigan, they have nearly 100% voter registration, which is pretty incredible. About 100,000 people are not registered to vote. Everyone else is, which is pretty incredible. So obviously that
That's
number
pretty
is ridiculous.
incredible.
Now, if you add in those other
I mean, who do they count? Do they count kids? Do they count? I mean, who do they count there? Is there only 100,000 kids in that state? I mean, how does that work?
800,000 plus the 600,000, then you're going to get to those 1.2 million or around that. And she says 800,000 of those were already canceled.
Voting
But
age.
no,
Okay,
600,000
voting age. Okay, I saw it. I caught it. All right.
inactive voters there, 7.9 million. So I think she's wrong. I think there's some funny business happening with the numbers. And that tells you right there, right? 7.9 million according to US Census Bureau, but she said 8.3 million. So if you deduct the 1.2 million from the 8.3, then you get back to the 7.9. All right, a lot of numbers. All right, but that's the battle back and forth. And so Elon is calling her out and she's saying, we have the most amazing list and I'm just following the law. Now, if you have a problem with this, if you're there in one of the counties in Michigan and you're certifying it, we remember this bizarre clip from Jocelyn where she had the Disneyland, It's a Small World, After All music in the background as she's threatening to come essentially to your home if you're a Michigan certifier and you dare to refuse to certify the election.
If someone were to violate the law and not certify the election at the local level, we will come for you.
Whoa!
So any local certifier thinking of skirting the law and not certifying the vote, don't even think about it because we'll get.
We're going to come for you and your family, and the rest will be history. So certify it or else. And remember, they're not really even certifiers in some states. In Georgia, they don't certify anything. In fact, the election in Georgia has already been certified, literally, practically. They haven't signed the certification paperwork, but they have to, right? There's like no option to do it. So all the certifiers who were there to make sure the election is conducted appropriately, the judge, Nick Burney, already came out and said, no, don't even worry about it. You have no choice but to certify it. So if somebody comes to them and says, I have 100% proof of fraud, they say, that's great, certified, like literally, right? Certified, here you go, because it's mandatory under the law in Georgia, which means there's no certification that happens whatsoever. Same thing here. If you don't certify, you're under threat of prosecution, apparently. The Secretary of State, Jocelyn, will refer you for criminal charges, and I don't doubt that she'll do it. Now, she was also out, she's making the rounds, also out with CNN and saying that 1 million absentee ballots have been cast already in Michigan. Here's what she said.
Nice to have you here with us. There was a lot going on the Twitter or X, as it's now known, between you and Elon Musk over the weekend. So I just want to tell the folks at home, this is going to take me a minute, but I think it's important that we lay all of this out for our viewers. So you were firing back at him after he questioned the integrity of your voter rolls and said that there were more voters than citizens in the state. You posted, let's be clear, Elon Musk is spreading dangerous disinformation. Then you went on to break down the numbers, showing that he's pushing this misleading number, which includes 1.2 million inactive records slated for removal in accordance with the law, ending with don't feed the trolls. Musk then fired back, writing, shame on you, blatantly lying to the public, saying you only plan to remove those ineligible voters after the elections. And that's why he says there are far more people registered to vote than there are eligible voters. We can't forget, of course, that Elon Musk now owns X with some 200 million followers. The fact that all of this is playing out and that he is continuing to push this disinformation, how
it's not
concerning
disinformation. He just cited it. And her
CNN, that's like calling the pot calling the kettle black, right? I mean, it said you work for CNN.
own numbers are showing that she's keeping them on the rolls. And the part that is problematic is that they're allegedly ineligible, which is why she's removing them for whatever reason. Let's see what she says.
Is that to you ahead of the election?
It's very concerning, in part because, this is a significant platform. And gosh, I wish that folks with such large platforms such as his would use it to spread accurate information about our election.
This lady's on CNN lying, right? In my opinion, she's lying through her teeth right now. About her position that she's doing a good job. So she's responding with information on CNN. CNN is calling what he said disinformation. He, in community sources cited to their sources, which are federal data.
I understand the nuances and the challenges of doing that, but if you have enough time to Google me and look up my middle name, which you clearly did, you should be able to find out the facts of our elections and post those as well.
What is your middle
in my
name?
view, I'm going to just keep working to make sure citizens know that our elections are secure, that we ID every voter, that we vote on paper ballots, and that we have many layers in place to ensure our results will be accurate.
Jocelyn Benson. What is her middle name? I don't know. It's not here on Wikipedia. Here's what it tells us. Jocelyn Benson. She graduated from Wellesley College. Oh, I don't even know what her middle name is. It's interesting. I don't know, but maybe she doesn't like it. Is that a sore spot for her? All right. Well, here is Brad Raffensperger. Okay. He's doing the same thing. So the UOCAVA ballots, the overseas ballots, which are absolutely going to be exploited this cycle. We'll cover that in a different segment. He is saying the same thing. Oh, no. And remember, Georgia was a small margin. It was like, 10,000 votes, 11,000 votes, I believe it was in 2020. So election night happens. We get all the results in. Then they print in the ballots, ship them in from overseas, close the gap, and declare victory in the state. Here's Brad, same guy who's got an interesting and problematic history with the president. Doesn't like him, as far as we can tell, telling us how this is going to go.
As I understand it, nearly all votes cast in this upcoming election will be recorded on paper. Last night.
Absolutely. 100% will be. It's actually security paper with the state seal on it.
Okay. Important point to establish, because yesterday President Trump said something that implies that because it can take time to tabulate votes, there might be something nefarious here. Take a listen.
We spend all this money on machines, and then they announce, we expect to have the results like 7 days after the election. Yeah. If you had paper ballots, you get them at 10 o'clock. France went to paper because what we did didn't work.
He's pointing to a lack of paper ballots as a problem here. Is he accurately describing what's happening, and how long will it take to tabulate votes?
In Georgia, 100% of all the votes cast will be on a paper ballot.
Yeah, but you don't count them that way, because you just had the judge overturn the state election board. They passed a rule to actually hand count the ballots, and actually not to even count the votes on the ballots, but to just literally count the ballots. So in other words, if you have a polling location, 1,500 people go in to vote, they get their ballots, they scan them in the machines. The machine says 1,501 people voted. You say, great, pull them out. You count the ballots, the number of the ballots. You say, 1,500, 1,499, 1,500, 1,501. Yeah, that's it. It matches. Great. The number of total ballots that are here matches the number of ballots that came in on the machine. So we are reconciling the two. Very simple. But they're not actually doing that. They're just using the paper ballots. That's great. And they're just shoving them in the machine.
Nationwide, it's going to be over 96 to 97% of all voting in America will be on paper ballots. But we also just put into law this year.
It's printed out paper ballots is what he's talking about. Because I just had one in my hand today.
Here with SB 189, that all early votes and all early accepted ballots, they all will have to have their results reported by 8 p.m. That's 70, maybe even 75% of all the vote totals will be reported no later than 8 p.m. on election night.
Great.
Won't take 7 days to tabulate votes, as he said?
Absolutely not. What we will be waiting for is the overseas ballots that come in no later than Friday. And so those will then be the final numbers. And we'll just see if that makes a difference in the total.
No later than Friday. Why do overseas ballots get extra time? Right? They should have to mail them in earlier.
Total vote totals. I understand we're very competitive. That's why we've done everything since day one to make sure
it makes no sense. Nothing should go past election day. It should all happen beforehand. That's why voting early, I think voting early this time is the way to go, because then they can't, I know the worries, right? But I mean, if we're already all the way there by the time it gets to election night, they can't do much, right? If we're jamming. So let's just jam. If you're going to vote for Trump on election day, vote for him early. Just go down and do it. The lines aren't that long right now.
We have fast, accurate, and secure elections for all my voters here in Georgia.
Okay, so we fun to take over and unders on Georgia. Do we think that they'll have final total results within 7 days of the election or after 7 days of the election? So if the UOCAVA ballots have to come in on Friday, well, then they've got until Tuesday to count those and to deliver a result, right? That's it. So we should have a result, by Friday? Or are they waiting till close of business Friday? Are they going to be counting ballots on Saturdays and Sundays? Or are they going to go on a cruise with Fannie Willis? Don't know. Right. But as we've seen, there is some squirrely language in there. Oh, no, we'll have 75, 80% done. Well, is Trump right? Like it's going to take 7 days to get the final number? No, definitely not. Definitely not going to take 7 days because our deadline's on Friday. Okay, well, that's like 3 days after the election. Okay, well, that's the deadline to have them in. You're going to have them counted by then? Didn't really answer that. Was there a follow-up from Margaret Brennan? No, except Trump's just a bad dude and he's spreading election misinformation. Got it. Now, meanwhile, Democrats are launching an all-out assault on Jill Stein. She is another loose end that they have to clean up. So while they have all the secretaries who are
and there's a group that actually she aligns more with them than us, right?
Prognosticating election delays, saying everything's totally in order, which is what they say every time, and it's never in order. We saw that happen in Arizona with onesie twosie Bill Gates and Stephen Richer out there saying the election was perfect, even though people were standing in lines trying to vote for Carrie Lake for hours.
Exactly,
now, they said Miss Stein is back on the ballot almost everywhere that matters. Returning to the campaign floor in an ostensible coin flip race between Trump and Kamala. Now, while Stein condemns both zombie political parties, which I think is fair. I mean, they both, like the Republican Party, like other than, the Trump carve out here, it's like Mitch McConnell and Mitt Romney. Give me a break. Her campaign campaign has focused largely on hammering Harris, blaming the White House for the violence in Gaza. And this is a big problem for the Kamala campaign in Michigan. There are articles out there that they're hitting the panic button there too, because of her position on that conflict, saying, well, basically nothing, that we're going to keep doing what Joe Biden is doing. We can't give up. We can't give up. What? You're going to keep funding both sides of the conflict and pushing for a ceasefire? That is not going to happen anytime soon. So, okay, the party has prepared a negative ad blitz to go against Miss Stein, and Democrats, as never before, are going to be hitting her in its first such effort ever directed at a third-party candidate. Look, man, they're nuts. They're going on a negative ad blitz. They're fearful that Stein might divert critical votes in places like Michigan. Democrats are also pressing their case on billboards plastered recently across swing states. They're saying, Jill Stein helped Trump once. Don't let her do it again. And I think we appreciate Jill Stein in one way. There definitely are people, I've spoken to them, who say, I just can't vote for Trump. And they're the Kennedy people, right? And I think I mentioned this before earlier when I was speaking with a woman. I just,
those are people who have, very small political IQs.
I love Kennedy. I just gone and met Kennedy
at least
at the
not
event with
bidding
Tucker,
any
and he was amazing.
establishment.
And so I was
I'll give him
explaining this to her. She's like, gosh, I love him so much. It's so amazing and all the things. And we had the conversation about where he was going. Come join Team MAGA. If you don't like MAGA, join MAGA and come join us to make America healthy again. She's like, oh, God, and just having and hawing about it. And so in my gut, I don't know that she's going to jump off.
I know somebody like that. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But, it's like, dude, just, you say you're anti-establishment, just go where it's going. Be part of it. The establishment's corrupt. It's those guys. It's the ones who've been controlling us our whole lives, right? Trump has nothing to do with them. They hate him. No man by his enemies, right? No one by his allies too, right? RFK, Tulsi, all people that didn't, thought they were anti-establishment, but didn't want to, and still are under the mind control that the Republican Party is a bunch of neocons, right? When they're not anymore. They're still under that old school left-right paradigm, false left-right paradigm mind control, right? They haven't snapped out of it yet. Yet they can't bring themselves to go vote for Trump for some reason because of some false idea about things. But now it's my right. It's like, but you don't understand that, this is literally a battle for against the corrupt establishment that's bending the knee to a bigger global corrupt establishment, a global corrupt establishment that wants Agenda 2030 to push through. Look at our southern border. Look at all of the ways that they're DEI, all the things they're doing. And at the basis of that is cultural Marxism and critical theory, which is the realization of that through education. I mean, dude, you're against all that stuff, all that wokeness, right? But you still won't go vote for Trump. I mean, what's wrong? I don't understand what the holdup is about casting one vote. Just do it one time. Oh, I don't know. I can't. You're going to sleep okay if you help the establishment win, but you're not going to sleep okay if you vote against the establishment by voting for Donald Trump. I mean, I just don't get people like that. They don't make any sense. I know they think they do, but they don't. They really don't. Those of us who are awake, aware, and resisting understand that that's a bullshit line. That's just a cope.
And vote for Trump. But Jill Stein, right, for those people who are out there, if they're not going to stay home and if they're not going to vote for Trump, we'd rather them have an outlet of Jill Stein, let's say, rather than Kamala, right? We'd rather it go to Jill than Kamala, which is why the Democrats are so freaked. They're trying to get her off the ballot and they're launching an onslaught. They recognize that. They're like, oh, crap, there's another option. So that's not good. And Jill Stein is a very unique person in Michigan and other places where there are large Arab American populations that are upset about what's happening in Gaza. And she is there talking against the violence there, saying it needs to stop. So perfect. It's a nice option for that demographic. Now, for the last 8 years, Stein has taken her place as a peace-peddling, Democrat-bashing, Republican-aided, formerly Russian-boosted villain of the left. The hell kind of sentence is that? From the Times? Was this Times? Yeah. In 2016, she got 1.5 million votes. Wow. Her support in the decisive states in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania exceeded Trump's margin of victories in 2016. Some national polls have her around 1%. And so they're coming after her hard. She's saying, I'm not a spoiler. Maybe you guys should have a better candidate who's not Kamala. So it is happening everywhere. All the swing states are being targeted, the secretaries and the Democrats gearing up for the final hour.
Folks.
All right. Let's see. Let me go back to this real quick, and then we'll take a look at this. I do want to be able to get to some border crisis stuff tonight, so I may save that the rest of Rig Watch for tomorrow. Let me see what I got here on that. There's Gary, by the way. Gary Franchi, Next News Network will be here on the 29th. It's going to be a huge night. Gary is a true patriot, fighting for liberty for decades now. He puts it all on the line. He just got back from Mar-a-Lago where he got to spend some time with Trump. I'm looking forward to hearing about that from Gary. He's a great guy. I can't wait for you guys to meet him. He will be here next Tuesday. All right, so let me pull that down real quick, and then let me do a little inventory here. And by the way, I mean, this is, like I said, Line in the Sand is doing great. We're getting people to watch it that has never seen it before. But you got to know, there's always some a-hole out there in the crowd, not in this crowd, but out there on the internet, right? Probably some troll, can't stand anybody else doing anything to help other people, right? He's got to come out there and get some negative attention. So, and you got to go out there and put a thumbs down on it. Who would thumbs down Line in the Sand? I mean, who would do that? Right? Only somebody who's had a lot of mental problems would do that. That's horrible. How dare you thumb down exposing child trafficking? Some weirdo that came to my channel that did that. That's disgraceful. That's disgraceful. And I'm sure they're not a subscriber. They're just some hateful person who has no morals whatsoever. I mean, how do you thumbs down exposing child trafficking? Sad. But can't help all the people. Some people are so mentally disturbed, there's no helping them. So the good thing about it is like it's a generational thing, right? We talk about it being a generational effort to heal the country, and that person will just get weeded out with time. Let me see here. 1, 2. Well, let's throw this one up 1. Can I do that? All right. And I got wow, I got so many in this pile. I did that one. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, and I'll probably add more. Let me go ahead and play this other one right now. And I kind of feel like I just want to keep going with Rig Watch. How many do I have in the I tell you what, I got one major one in Border Crisis. So we got time. I'm going to continue on with Rig Watch, but before we get to Gary Franchi, I want to play this quick update here. Stack of mail-in ballots found in Southern California storm drain. Man, there are some mentally disturbed people in this world.
Just weeks before the November 5th election, a stack of ballots in a storm drain.
As Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia tells us, it's a reminder to contact your registrar of voters if your ballot doesn't show up in the mail.
Jason Ace was doing some landscape work at his Sierra Madre home Saturday when he saw something strange in the storm drain next to his house. Nearly a dozen mail-in ballots. He says he got on his hands and knees and started scooping them out and noticed the addresses were from his Arcadia neighbors a block away.
And of course, we're trained here to keep stuff out of the storm drain. So I got down on my hands and knees and dug around a little bit and started pulling it out. And I pulled out a bunch of junk mail and Ralph's ads and Aldi, and these ballots were mixed in with the junk mail. And of course, they catch my attention because we're seeing on TV about all of the care being taken to prevent fraud and misuse of ballots. It seemed a strange place for ballots to be.
He says he tried to return them to the nearby post office, but they were already closed. Yesterday being a holiday, he wasn't able to return them either. His guess is someone went around the neighborhood opening up the mailboxes and emptying them. What the thieves didn't want, they dumped in the storm drain. He shared with us that he doesn't receive a lot of mail. He explains for him, it's safer.
I'm one of these people who's gotten almost everything now coming in paperless. I don't get a lot of personal mail. The only thing I get these days that might be like that might be a replacement credit card or something.
If you haven't received your mail-in ballot and you believe it may have been lost or stolen, the LA County Registrar's website allows you to request a replacement. Go to their website and fill out the form online. You can only do this once. And according to the website, it will not change your registration status. Mr. Sinise tells me he plans on going to the post office this afternoon to return the ballots he found. In Arcadia, I'm Sid Garcia, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
There you go. And you can keep an eye on it too. You can keep an eye on it yourself, Like I talked about like a long time ago, like watch people that are trying to, in your neighborhood, park next to mailboxes, like anything like that. Keep an eye open because people like to go out and steal these ballots and they'll go fill them out themselves. And you'll go to show up to vote, and you'll find out that you had already voted. You're waiting for your mail-in ballot; it never shows up, or you A lot of times, I mean, in 2020, especially, the place I was living, there were stacks of these things coming in for other people. I just took them all out and kept them, right? They were like, there's people, they were sending them out without people that even requesting them. That was the year they were doing all that shit. So I was like, man, I have no idea who these people are, where they live now, or why they're coming to my house. But I'm not going to I'm not, the mailbox is like a road. And it's like people could just drive by and open it up and go through all that stuff. And I bet you people are doing that, especially if you live off a big road or something like that. Your mailbox is way down from the driveway from you. Keep an eye out, make sure people aren't stealing your ballots. Keep your mail nice and cleaned out, or stack it full of junk mail so they can't sort through it real fast. And make sure you keep your daily mail in the house, right? And if you do find a bunch of them laying on the street somewhere, yeah, turn them back in. I guess that's a good idea. People need to actually go vote in person. I'm more in favor of that, but I guess they send out so many of these things, you don't know whether they're legit or not. You don't know, especially here in Georgia. So much weird stuff, like we were just seeing earlier, going on in the state. But luckily, I didn't have any issues today. I have a PO box for mail for that reason. It's nice, Heidi. You see, Heidi's really prepared in a lot of ways. She's on top of things. She is on top of things. Yeah, it's a federal offense taking mail from your mailbox. Absolutely, yeah. Bless that man. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, to look down a storm drain too. I mean, whoa. I don't look down many storm drains, but I'm glad somebody is. I'm glad somebody is. All right. Let's do this one right here. Election machines flipping votes in 3 states. Let's take a listen to what Gary Franchi, who will be here next Tuesday, has to say about this.
We're about to dive into a story that is sending shockwaves through the political landscape. Remember 2020? Well, it looks like history might be repeating itself, but this time they're not even trying to hide it. From mysterious voting machine malfunctions to ballot irregularities popping up across key battleground states, the signs are everywhere. Is this the beginning of another election steal? Stay tuned as we unpack the evidence and expose the truth that they don't want you to see. Now, before we dive deeper, laughing about putting Donald Trump in jail, she is a sick person.
Because some people find it humorous what he says, and think it's just silly. But understand how brutally serious it is. Well, the courts will take care of that. We'll take care of November. Yeah.
Do you hear that? Someone screamed in the audience, "Lock him up." And she said, "Of course, we will take care of that."
We'll take care of November. It is, well, the courts will take care of that. We'll take care of November. Yes.
She probably, I don't know what she meant. She meant the election, and the courts will take care of it after the election, or if that was something else, but whatever.
We'll take care of November.
Yeah, we'll take care of November. How are they going to take care of November? And she's laughing about locking up Donald Trump. These people have no shame. We got some breaking news out of Arizona. Lawsuit's been filed against Maricopa County to force them to document everything that happens with ballots, with ballots on before and after election night, and also to close a secret fraud loophole that allows election workers to change votes. It's an uncontested fact that Maricopa County did not maintain proper chain of custody in 2020 and 2022, and also violated the federal election records retention law. They even deleted certain data from the voting machines before handing them to the state Senate auditors. This lawsuit serves a greater purpose than thought at face value. By filing this, it invalidates the latches argument after the election because we have established and timely concern. And 2, if the county disputes the facts, then the onus is on them to make zero mistakes, because if they do, a post-election lawsuit will be a slam dunk. The lawsuit also reveals that in 2022, Maricopa County conducted a practice where they took votes that had already been counted and retabulated them at their pleasure. Quote, because of this unlawful practice, it is entirely possible for Maricopa County employees to change the outcomes of elections by swapping out ballots to include votes for their preferred candidates and propositions for or against. Attorney Ryan L. Heath, he wants the court to issue an order compelling the county to run a legal, and more importantly, establishing that failure to follow the law will bring the validity of the election into question. So this is a huge, huge deal coming out of Arizona. As you know, that was one of the big contested states in 2020. So this is very good news. Obviously, we do have to make it too big to rig. We all need to get out and vote for President Trump.
Yes,
double
do
and
it
triple
now.
check your ballots. Very important election. Democrats are rigging. These are declarations made by MIA just 3 hours ago, overwhelming the votes for Trump. Vance, to overcome the steal, we can't depend on judicial help. As you know, what he's referring to is that so many courts just didn't even allow the question of the election to enter into the court, so no evidence could be revealed. So we have to make sure that there is just overwhelming amount. And we have some information later in the show that will present that overwhelming support is already pouring in for Trump. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Yesterday, the secretaries of state for Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania each went on mainstream media. They said they won't have election results on election night. Clearly coordinated. Why is it that these key battleground states are the only ones
Always
that
the
can't
key
seem
ones.
to deliver
Always.
results in a timely manner?
How about that?
It's blatantly obvious to anyone with a functioning brain that they're planning to steal the election just like they did in 2020. Let's take a look at what happened on Face the Nation.
We covered that one earlier. We did that extensively with Robert Guevara.
Late votes, there might be something.
Is after the election. If you had paper ballots, you get them at 10 o'clock. France went to paper because what we did didn't work.
He's pointing to a lack of paper ballots as a problem here. Is he accurately describing?
Call that too.
Is what? Be patient with Pennsylvania? The message is please be patient. Our counties are working night and day to count their voters' votes. They're doing so as quickly as they can and with integrity. Our job is to make sure we are constantly just providing the truth to voters to be a...
For Secretary Schmidt, getting out the message can mean late nights answering questions about the electoral process in granular
I'm going to stop that for a second because 60 minutes is weird about
detail.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that really pans out. We've got some more news to break down for you here. The head of Fox News Decision Desk, Arnon Mishkin, foresees around a 4-day delay.
What? Where is this coming from? My whole life, we were able to get the results the night of the election. We're calling the entire thing for so-and-so, right? Then suddenly, when there's real opposition involved, and they're not so secure about, if they don't think they had the mind control machine working as well as it should, now there's delays. Now we have to wait several days. Do we have to wait several days in 2016? I don't think we did. I don't remember having to wait several days. Do you? I think they called it for Trump that night and we were all celebrating. That's the way it should be. All this delay shit, it's got to go. And that's why we need to elect Trump right now. He's going to take care of this. This is going to be done with. And you know what? Another thing that I noticed today too, actually, I forgot to mention it earlier. In Georgia, and I don't know if this is probably true everywhere, but in Georgia, you have to sign, right? You have to sign when you come in. They show your ID. They say, okay, you're good to go, right? And they scan it and all that stuff. And then a screen comes up and you have to sign it. Well, you have to sign it on a screen with a big, I got a pen here with a little rubber tip at the end of it, right? A little stylus tip. And it's pretty flimsy, right? And you got to sign it on a screen. And I signed my name and I did my screen, screen signing name, right? Where I don't really, it's not as like my pen version. Like when I got a pen, I'm signing a piece of paper. It's the pen version. It's the first name, middle initial, last name, right? And when I have to do it on a screen, when it's all kind of messy, I just do first initials, middle initial, last name. And I thought to myself, holy crap. What if they look at that and say, well, that's not the same signature as on the driver's license because that was a pen version, and say, well, that's no good now because I'm signing it on a screen with a big fat stylus, rubber tip stylus. It's all flimsy and shit, right? It's not like one of those really nice ones that are firm. It's one of those ones that are mushy. That's what they give you. I'm like, dude, that's got to stop too. You should have to use a pen to paper signature because I mean, it's so easy to mess up a signature using one of these big weird stylusy pens, on a screen. You're not used to signing stuff like that. That's not how we learn how to write. You don't learn how to write with a big rubber tip on a flat surface like that, on a flat screen, digital signature stuff. So I don't know. That's something else I meant to mention earlier. That has to go too.
For the presidential election results, Fox News, 4 days, they're saying. And they're the ones that called Arizona like the minute the polls closed. That was a big, big problem. Remember that? I will never forget that.
Me either. Michigan
ballots won't be available until November 6th, according to the Michigan Secretary of State. That's who you saw earlier. Laura Trump, listen to this. She stated that of the 700 trained Republican poll watchers who applied in Detroit, only 50 were approved. However, 2,300 Democrats were accepted. I wonder why.
Apply. Look at a state like Michigan, a very important state, a state Donald Trump, of course, won in 2016. We are fighting tooth and nail to make sure Donald Trump wins in Michigan, and we believe if it's a free, fair, and transparent election, he will. I'll give you an example of the way the Democrats like to operate to try and sway an election. We had 700 trained poll workers from the Republican side apply in Wayne County to be poll workers. Do you know how many of those they actually took? 50. Guess how many Democrat poll workers they took? 2,300. So now we are filing a lawsuit in Detroit to make sure that we have parity between Republicans and Democrats. So
they're trying to get parity, but those numbers are not equal. One of the best lawyers in Arizona just filed a very powerful election integrity lawsuit. We just covered that for you. Here we go. This was just a couple days ago. I bookmarked it. The voting machines in Dallas County, Texas, reportedly failed to pass their legally required logic and accuracy test, according to County GOP Chair Alan West. Georgia, Tennessee, and now Texas. Clearly, this deal is on. He asked the question, what have we been doing the past 4 years to prevent 2020 from happening again? Yeah, what have we been doing? Screaming from the rooftops.
Yep.
Statement from DCRP Chair Alan West. I would like to express deep gratitude to the State Senate Affairs Committee work of Senator Hughes, Parker, and Bob Hall for the additional equipment testing in Dallas County, counting on October 17th. Senators Parker and Hall were present for the testing, saw firsthand how the voting machine equipment is opaque and presents grave risks to Dallas County voters in our Texas Constitutional Republic. We thank you for giving your time, attention, and concern. Oh, wow. It's opaque, not transparent. That is Senator Hughes. He's also, he was expressing gratitude to Senator Hughes. Senator Hughes is also the senator we're waiting to hear about the document dump that they received from Google and Alphabet about the algorithmic manipulation of search and on YouTube, and especially the demonetization of this channel for the last 22 months. So
that's ridiculous, by the way. That's ridiculous, man. What is he? Tell me what he's doing wrong here. He's not doing anything wrong. There's no way he should be demonetized. That's a crime.
With them to get that information out into the public square. We've also got this coming in. I posted this on just a couple days ago, announcing the steal is on. Election officials in Shelby County, Tennessee are receiving numerous reports from voters claiming that the voting machines are flipping their selections.
Makers both on the ballot. Shelby County Election Commission member Venetia Kimbrough says several voters reported at least one incident at 10 to 12 precincts across the county. Representatives G.A. Hardaway and Antonio Parkinson, state lawmakers, both on the ballot and part of the Shelby County Democratic Caucus, say they received several calls from voters today. Here's a list of some of the voting sites provided to Action News 5 where voters said they had difficulty pressing one candidate. They said that their vote would change from the Democratic candidate to the Republican candidate. Now, Kimbrough says voters must press the name of the candidate and not the box next to the candidate's name. Remember, we're using these new touchscreens for the second time, but this is the largest election we're using them in, this new equipment.
Okay, so now they're flipping the votes from Democrats to Republicans. That's a new one. What else have we got for you here? We've got here, this is the Georgia election fraud. Kylie Jane Kramer. She announces Dominion voting machines. We are already seeing major issues with the machines across the Peach State as early voting is underway. Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene confirmed there is an issue in her district with the machines flipping votes from Trump to Kamala. The voter chose Trump on the BMD ballot marking device. And then when the printed ballot came out of the tabletop printer before it was scanned to actually cast the ballot, the text showed they selected Kamala.
Yeah, I made sure that mine was right. I made sure it was right.
After several attempts to fix it, they finally had to void out the ballot, use another machine, and start fresh. They were able to successfully select Trump, and it correctly showed on the printed ballot text. The ballot was then cast by scanning the printed ballot in the polling scanner tabulator. Okay, so if you're in one of those states where you do the whole touchscreen and it prints out something for you, double check it, look at it, review it, make sure your votes are there. Like in my state of Illinois, we have a machine where you do a dial and it moves the marker to the place where you want to vote, and then you press in the dial and it tacks the box, and then you see a piece of paper roll up on a transparent screen on the side where you can actually see the paper being printed up. You can't take the paper, but that's the paper record. And I've done this before. I take my phone in, I record the vote, I make sure that I record it, I take a picture of it, I record my entire process because I want to make sure that there are no irregularities, and I'm just personally recording it for myself. And I encourage you to do the exact same thing. In fact, I reached out to Charlie Kirk to see if we could work on a project together. Never heard back from him. Maybe he's just too busy to verify the vote. But if there was ever a need, this is the time. Pick up your phone, record your vote, and then post it. Post your vote, post the recording of your vote, the picture of your vote, post it on X, post it on YouTube, post it on Facebook. Make a digital record of your vote somewhere immediately following your casting of it. Because we need to make sure. I know this. I mean, there's probably only so many people are actually going to see this and activate this call to action. But It's just another safeguard. If there was ever a question that your vote needed to be checked, and you could say, this is my video of me doing it. I've got the video. Here's the link to it. So we need to make sure we document everything that happens. So we're already seeing.
1 second. Corey, what's up, man? Long time no see. What you doing? You voting, man? You gonna vote? I hope you're voting for Trump, man. We need every vote. Get out there and vote early. We're on AFX's server together. AFX, I don't know what happened to him. Is he okay? Have you talked to AFX? We put a missing persons report out on him, and I've been trying to harass him into coming out into the open, but I don't know where the hell happened to him. I'll be glad to look at any of this stuff offline. But I want to make sure that you are going to get out and vote. Even if you think government's the problem, we need everybody to vote against the corrupt establishment. You can be part of the anti-establishment right now. Just get out and vote early for Trump. Yeah, can you volunteer to go to vote for Trump right now? Will you volunteer to go do that? I mean, just do it for us. That would be awesome, because my kid wants a future, and the corrupt establishment's going to collapse us into a that's one way to look at it. But right now we have to deal with what was in front of us, and if we don't seal the border, have you seen Line in the Sand, Corey? Have you seen? It's pinned in the it's pinned up there at the top of the chat, and it's in the description. I don't pledge to any rulers or okay. You don't have to pledge to any rulers or masters. Just vote against the corruption and the evil that's going on in this world. Can you do that? Just do that. But yeah, look, I want you to watch Line in the Sand. All right. Hey, look, you can watch it. Just watch it, because you're gonna love it, because it's it's all about what you're into, right? Just go watch it. It's about the border crisis. I want you to understand how big it is. Yeah, and not fighting against evil is evil too, right? So we're on the good side. We're not evil. We're not evil here. We're actually trying to stop the implosion of this country. And no, you're not going to impose your will on anybody. You're not going to impose your will on anybody. Nope, you won't. You're going to help fight the biggest evil going right now. You're going to be part of the solution. Yeah, you're going to have, if you don't, you're going to have the worst men on the planet ruling over you, whether you like it or not. Yeah. I mean, I get it. You're like 24. You're new to all this. I'm in my 50s. I've been doing this for decades, fighting against this stuff. I'm an old Ron Paul guy, like this guy on screen right here, Gary Franchi, like, philosophy of liberty, all that stuff. I'm all down. I know. I read all that stuff decades ago. I know what you're talking about. But what I'm telling you right now is all you got to do is go watch that video, Line in the Sand. It's right there. I got it for you. It's just save it and go watch it. If you want me to watch your stuff, Corey, I want you to go watch mine. How about that? How about we make a nice voluntary agreement between each other? How about that? Are you willing to come to the table and put your money where your mouth is? Yeah. Okay. Well, if you don't want statism, I think you need to watch that video, because if you don't, you're going to get the worst kind of non-statism, which is complete chaos. But I think do you know much about the border, man? Will you do it? I'll do it. You'll do it with me. You'll watch it. I just did it last Tuesday. I just had a whole stream on it. I've posted it everywhere. But the rewatch stream is right there. Guys, you can throw here. I'm going to throw the links out at you again. I know you're busy typing there, but let me just go ahead and just throw you these links personally from me to you, Corey. So I know that you're passionate, and I like that about you. So there you go. So watch that video. Watch Line in the Sand, okay, from start to finish, and you'll see, and I think you'll agree that government's a big problem in all this. But I want you to understand the gravity of the situation that we're in immediately right now, here today, right? Not something that's going to take a generation or two to get to, right? But right now, right here today, if you want a chance to implement your plan, right? If you want a chance to see that your work come to fruition and actually be listened to and heard, I think you need to take a look at this, because if you don't understand the crisis at the border and how deep the problem goes with the corruption and the child trafficking that's going on, and why we need to fight it right here, right now, and take a stand against it today, right? with what we have, with just what we have. I mean, nothing's going to change in the next couple of weeks except for who might be president next, right? And we're going to have to deal with that system until you can get people to listen to your stuff, your way here, right? But you need to have a way to get people to listen to it. And if you don't, I fully understand how many. No, you haven't seen this video. I'm asking you to go watch this. You're coming to my stream and you're asking me to talk to you about stuff and get your ideas out, right? You're asking me to watch your videos. I'm asking you to watch mine. Yeah, I mean, see, this is the problem. This is why I don't think your shit gets out, dude. You have to learn how to you have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to cooperate with people. How do you know? I do. Look, I looked into you a while back, man. I talked to Afix about you. You invited me to come to one of your summons things, right? Remember? I don't forget. I do deep research on people when I'm going to interact with them and do something, right? So no, and we can discuss natural law, right? We're going to talk about natural law. Yep. How many people were there? Is this the one with David Icke? But yeah. Okay, that's cool. Awesome. Mike Adams. I'll look him up. But seriously, man, I know that you're all about. I know you're all about anarchy, right? No government, government's violence. So you come from a libertarian standpoint, which so do I, right? So we understand that. But I'm asking you, okay, and we're gonna be done here in about 2 seconds. But I'm asking you to go watch Line in the Sand, come back and tell me what you think. All right, just do that. Just do that for me. That's all you got to do. That's good. That's good, man. You know, there's a lot of IRL events that go on in the world. There's one called Socialism 2024 too that goes on. There's a lot of people that go to that too, right? There's a lot of things that are fringy that go out that are going on, right? But if you don't understand that the system we have going on is not going to last much longer, and that no one's going to adopt your idea, right? Yeah, I know your stuff, dude. You don't have to keep printing it. I know your philosophy, man. I've listened to your videos, probably a lot more than you've listened to mine, right? So here you go. Jacob Castro's, I'm an anarchist. I'm voting for Trump. If I have to crawl through broken glass. See, a lot of anarchists for Trump. Well, yeah, but how are they going to get it involved with it if they don't vote? I mean, they can adopt the ideas, but what are you going to do when there's no way to implement them, right? There's no solution to that. Plus, not to mention, we have Venezuelan gangs running around in our country. Do you know that? If we didn't have law enforcement and government to get rid of them, then who's going to do it? You think that your people at your conference are going to do it? How are you guys going to do it? You're going to ask them to cooperate and adopt the nonviolent, the non-aggression principle? They don't believe in the non-aggression principle. They're from other countries. Most of them can't even speak English. So how are you going to deal with the immigration issue, right? How are you going to do it? See, you're the long-term solutions, and if you want to have people listen to long-term solutions, you have to understand what's in front of us right now, right? You have to understand that. Oh, good. Thank you. Tell him I said hi. Tell him to stop by. I miss him. Yeah, well, that's great because the all these illegals that are in our country are going to come take all that shit from you. Yeah, they will. I mean, if we don't stop them, do you understand? There's 22 million illegals in our country, and that there's Venezuelan and Ecuadorian gangs taking over apartment complexes. That this is real shit. They have guns, Do you understand that the establishment, if we don't beat them right now, is going to tell them to go get people like you? You do. I mean, that's great. I'm just asking you to watch Line in the Sand. I'm just asking you to understand what's in front of us in 2 weeks. I mean, before, just go vote. Go vote. Go vote for Trump. Just vote for Trump as a vote for your future to go ahead and have the First Amendment right to talk about what you want to talk about, because that's going to go away. It's going to go away. Do you know that Agenda 2030 is out there? It's on the WEF website. You know that 2030 is 6 years from now. Do you know that? I mean, that's 6 years from now, right? Stakeholder capitalism, world government. Have you heard of these things? I mean, they're coming, dude. They're coming. And having a great idea about how the world should be isn't going to stop it. Yes, they absolutely do matter. That's the whole thing. They absolutely do matter. And you can laugh about it, but it just shows that you really don't know what's in front of us right now. Yeah. Okay, so good luck with that when they have the monopoly of force, right? What are you gonna do with the monopoly of force? You gonna non-aggression principle it that away? That doesn't work. You have to, what you want, it may be right for the future, Corey. It may be right for the future, but if you don't deal with the present, you'll never get to the future. Yeah, elections don't matter is a psyop. It is. They do matter. The false left right paradigm collapsed in 2016. I know, you weren't, let's see, were you voting by then? You might have voted by then. But most of us were born into a world where it was Obama, Clinton, Bush, Obama. It was like these false left right paradigm, right? That Ron Paul, you remember Ron Paul? He used to talk about that. And he's the one who exposed it. He's the one who exposed the neocons as fake Republicans, right? Rhinos, Republicans in name only. And if you trace back the origins of the neoconservatism, you'll find Trotskyists, right? You'll find cultural Marxism. Now, cultural Marxism would love you to think that it's all about these evil capitalists, right? Because it's oppressor versus oppressed, and they use the same paradigm you're using as government and slavery, right? It's almost to the realm of cultural Marxism, because in your line of rhetoric, the government is the oppressor and we're the oppressed. So that lines up with cultural Marxism. That becomes ideological subversion, right? So you might want to trace the roots on your origins of what you're talking about, because you may find that you're kind of going down a Marxist trail versus a non-Marxist trail, like a truly independent and good trail, right? But I don't know. See, but I want you just to realize that we have a problem in front of us that we have to deal with, and people that are here. And what I'm doing is trying to deal with the problems that are in front of us, and then go into a generational fix for that by installing things that'll help people to resist mind control and fallacies and things like that have dominated our culture, and not just ours, but you can go back to World War II and World War I. You know what? You'd love this book that we're reading called Big Intel by J. Michael Waller. You might want to read that. You'd like that. That's that kind of shows about corruption in government. You'd like that. It teaches you a lot about cultural Marxism and how it's infiltrated all kinds of countries throughout history, right? And it'll teach you a lot. We're actually reading it every Monday night. I got a playlist over on Rumble where you can actually catch up on that book. And I don't care about the clicks and the views. I think that you would love this information, right? And I know you've been a long time subscriber here, but let me just go ahead and give you this link over to the playlist. And I have to get back to my show here, but since you came in, it was good to see you again. Big Intel, check out this book. You're gonna love it. And I'm sure you guys do, but I'm saying if you don't take care of the problem in front of you, you won't get to do this. 24 plus hours, hundreds of I got 24 hours of work on here too, man. I mean, that's cool. I get you. Works on psychology. Have you seen The Century of the Self, the documentary? Here, I'll give you that playlist too. You can go watch that and understand how institutional psychiatry has infiltrated our system. Let me give you that link as well, since you're here. This is a great one too. It's only 5 hour-long episodes. You'll love it. Long form content. Seems like that's right up your alley. I love long form content too. There's not enough of it, right? Let me see. Open conspiracies. It's on here somewhere. Power name. Here it is. Let me get. It's only 4 videos. I was wrong. 4 videos. The Century of the Self. You'll love this. And if you don't want to watch it on my playlist, just go look it up on Top Documentary. It's out there. There you go. You'll love that. Well, yeah, but if you don't listen to anybody else but yourself, you'll never hear anything else, right? Yeah, we could talk. We could talk in we'll talk in Discord sometime, all right, man. If you really want to make a pitch for me. But I mean, I just need you to do something for me. Just watch Line in the Sand, all right? Watch it. Just watch it. It's an hour and 41 minutes, man. Is it gonna hurt you? If you watch that and you don't think that there's a problem that we need to deal with right now, and that Trump isn't the one to come in and implement the solution by sealing the border off and getting these people out of the country so that we can actually have a country, then that's cool. Well, that's what you came in. You came in and pitched me on something, man. And that's fine. You should pitch your ideas. Don't pitch isn't a bad word. But you said, here it is. Hey man, how's it going? I'd love to share the problem. So you're going to give me the problem, the solution, and the strategy. And you've collaborated with world leaders, huh? Okay, in a freedom community and put a book together. Much love. No, that's totally cool. You said you have the videos, the trailers, and documents for every audience and every specific influential figure. Dude, I'm fine. I'm all open-minded about this stuff. Like, right? I want to, yeah, okay, world leaders. Like, which world leaders did you share it with? Xi Jinping? I'm just kidding. Trudeau? Was it Trudeau? No, I'm joking. There wasn't a pitch about voting. You started that. No, I asked you if you're voting. And you said, no, I figured you weren't. But I thought maybe you might want to reconsider. You know, we need people to get out there and make sure Trump gets elected. I can guarantee you one thing. If we don't get him elected and this corrupt establishment that's in charge right now keeps going, and you think government is violence, you're gonna learn the true word of government being violent. You know, and you can go off and live in the woods and stuff like that, but it's not gonna help. They get the idea that people are going to try to hide in the woods. Okay. They know that. And that's the whole rural community thing. And they're already dropping like tens of thousands of migrants into rural communities. And they're sticking them there. And what they're going to do is give them welfare and promise them jobs that aren't there. Right. And then they're going to say, oh, guess what? We're out of welfare. And you know whose fault it is? It's those people out in the country. Go out to their farms, take their stuff. We won't stop you. We won't stop you. Oh yeah, okay. Are you free Palestine? Are you you sure you're not cultural Marxist? Free Palestine? That's queer Marxism, right? That's the free Palestine people. Yeah. Oh, pro. Okay, good. So you're anti-Israel. You hate Jews. Is that what the problem is? You hate the Jews, or you hate Israel as a state? Which one is it? No, they're not. That's bullshit. See right there? That's how I know you don't know what you're talking about. They're not both owned by the same people. You haven't done your research. That's called bias right there. Is what it is. If you don't know that there's a distinct difference and that the establishment tried to kill our President Trump and has tried to throw him in jail and doesn't want him to run and that fears him, know a man by his enemies and his allies. Yeah, I think you know, if you think that they're both that's pre-2016 thinking, you would have been right before 2016. You would have been right. I would have agreed with you before 2016. Oh, I've offered you a chance. You won't be able to be convinced as a display as no. I mean, you're going to have to come with more than fallacies, though. You're going to have to come with more than fallacies at me. You know, I'm very educated in the trivium. I had John Irving on my show. I've been studying, you know, the trivium for over a decade. And, because what's his name? He's out of the picture for a few months and the name slips my mind. Natural Law. That dude, they used to be in collaboration together. I can't remember his name right now. But John Irving, triviumeducation.com. Yeah, he's been on my show. Mark Passio, thank you. Yeah, that's it. Him and Mark used to be friends. But then Jan and him split up after he left the Gnostic Media group. But he explained it all when he came on my show. But anyways, before we didn't talk about Mark on my show. We talked about the trivium, right? The trivium, the anti-mind virus, the antivirus to the mind virus known as fallacies, cultural Marxism, all that stuff. That's where it comes from. But anyways, so I'm cool with listening to your ideas, but I mean, like I said, you know, ideas like this, like, you know, they're all owned by the same people and, you know, fuck Israel and shit like that. I'm not into that stuff. I mean, but I'll listen to your plan. Just because we disagree on those things doesn't mean I won't listen to your plan. I'm interested in plans like that. I'm interested in them. I listen. You know, how do you think I learned about the other stuff? I had to listen to other people's stuff too. So, I mean, but would you go listen to my stuff? Like, that's the thing. It's like, would you go listen to my stuff? All right. I've been doing stuff here for a long time. I don't know how much of it you've listened to. I think you pop in and promote your stuff and then pop out. I don't know that we've ever considered my solution culture, when I'm talking about solution culture, or the Veils of Perception, or any of the shows that I've done. I don't know that you've done that. So I guess we'd have to have a conversation about that. But, you know, I have definitely asked about you. I have definitely gotten a conversation or two when I was considering your offers before. But then you kind of just, I don't know what you've been doing. I've been doing my stuff. This election right now is what's important. That's what I got to get back to right now. And we can, thanks for being here, Wolfram. I appreciate it. And we can have this conversation at another time. Right now, the election's what's important. After the election, I'll be happy to listen to your ideas. Go watch Line in the Sand, right? Go watch it. The links are right there. Just watch hour and 40 minutes, dude. You can put it on while you're shuffling papers or something. I don't care, but just go watch it, dude. And if you don't, go watch it. It's okay with your, okay. That's, again, I think that you just want to try to promote your ideas and not listen to other people's. But anyways, if you really want to have a true conversation and you can hold in your emotions, then just let me know. All right, back to the show, guys.
Seeing this happen in Georgia, votes being flipped in Georgia. And then this is really interesting too. We've got 500,000 more people are registered to vote in Michigan. Did you know that? More than those old enough to vote. Democrat officials say they're going to purge over 600,000 inactive voters after this election. Huh. Well, why can't you do it before the election? You can't press the delete, select all, delete. No, that's in Michigan. So there's 500,000 more people registered to vote than who are eligible. That is a huge, huge blind spot and an opportunity for election fraud to take place. Who's going to go in there and cast those votes? Well, but they haven't been purged. They're still on the voter rolls. Who has the master list? Are they putting that list out there to 500,000 illegals so that they can know, my name is now John Smith. I'm in Michigan. I'm going to go vote. Very dangerous situation happening in Michigan. J.D. McLean states the election steal has started. We moved from Pima County, Arizona at the end of September. Listen to this account. The election steal has already started. We moved from Pima County, Arizona at the end of September before early voting started and registered to vote in Texas. Someone has since requested an early ballot and voted for my wife in Arizona. The Arizona steal is on. Think about that. They moved and somebody requested their ballot and voted on their behalf. That is 100% illegal. Here's another video that just came out 17 hours ago. Here we go again. Georgia voting polls not being done in public. Residents being refused the ability to observe the polls. The resident says to the sheriff, the Georgia statute says the polls, setting up the polls and running the polls is supposed to be done in public. Let's watch. Oh.
Understanding is that according to the Georgia statute, the polls are supposed to be set up in public. As a member of the public, I'm supposed to be
at 7 a.m. You can come in and vote like this gentleman here. He's here to vote. Other than that, the library opens at 10.
Right, but
That's the only reason you'll have interest.
It's all
in
good,
polling
man.
places.
Relax.
right, but the Georgia statutes say that the setting up of the polls and the running of the polls
Thanks,
is supposed to be
Christy.
done in public, and therefore members of the public are supposed to be allowed to come in and observe and watch the setup of the polls.
Yeah, I know. I'm not in no hurry.
Oh, yeah, we're open at 7.
I learned to be a humble man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
It wasn't easy, but I had to learn.
So your name is Mr. Smith?
Jim Smith.
Sheriff Smith?
That's it.
Okay, and you're not allowing me to come in and observe? Is that correct?
Come in and vote.
No, sir, I'm not here to vote. I'm here to observe.
You're not here to vote. The library opens at 10. End of conversation.
End of conversation.
So my understanding.
Nope, you're not allowed to go in. So there you have it, folks. The warning signs are flashing red from Georgia to Michigan, from Pennsylvania to Texas. We're seeing a coordinated effort to undermine the integrity of our elections. But here's the million-dollar question. What can we do about it? Are we powerless in the face of this apparent steal, or is there still time to safeguard our republic? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure you make this video 100% viral so everybody knows just what's happening. This is only the beginning. So how do you think we can protect the sanctity of our vote? My opinion, record it. Get it out there.
Yep.
Publish it. That's my thoughts. What are yours? Drop a comment. We'll see you at the next report.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Gary Francie. Y'all, Gary Francie. Well, we had a little bit of a sidetrack. That was entertaining at least. But yeah, we got through that, and that's what's going on with the rig watch. I wanted to do a little bit of border crisis, but we were over the 3-hour mark. I always know when Wolfram goes to bed that I've gone too long. Because he goes to bed at 11. If he stays up to 11:15, it's because he's checking, he's looking out for me, man. He's a good guy, and I appreciate it. He tries to make it as long as he can, but he has to work. But I got an important thing on the border crisis. Let me tell you just the headline of it. It's breaking news from O'Keefe Media Group. Federal government whistleblower exposes $347 million contract for transporting unaccompanied minors. Wow. Wow. So I think we all know there's a good reason to vote, right? And I think there's a good reason to deal with the system that we have in front of us today, to be present and not to act like closing our eyes and going to sleepy time in fantasy land is going to make all the problems go away. It's not. Now, one day we can discuss the perfect way to run the country and the perfect solutions for everything. Even I put off solution culture talk for the election and what's in front of us. But keeping in mind, the globalists, the people that are in the WEF, the UN, the ones that are running the show at the top level for the corrupt establishment, the ones we're fighting with our group, they don't sleep. And they've been working at this for a very long time. They're generations ahead of us, right? Yeah, I need to stop being combative too, right? Okay. I'm not trying to win them over. I was just trying to convince them to, to go watch something and to consider voting. Because, people, these anarchist type people like him, right? They're like, I'm not going to vote. It's violence. And it's like, dude, you're the ones who help keep the corruption alive. It's like, it's that checking out that I don't like. Like, okay, you will have a solution for the future, right? But you're not willing to deal with the present. And there's only so many ways you can deal with it. Now, Thomas, I've been on a panel with you before. Okay. You were off the hook. That one time I was on a panel with you, with Gary, man, you were like, so you ran somebody off the panel, man. I like you, man, but you're funny. But I mean, it's hard, right? It's hard when you're on panel and you're in front of people and you got a mic, right? And you're trying to get a point across and you're trying to get it heard, not only just to stay on point, right? But also to deal with, text that's coming off the screen. I know Corey, and I don't know him personally, but I know his work and I've seen his work and I've talked to my friend Afix about him. He's the 24-year-old, very passionate young man who works very hard, but he thinks he's got it all figured out. All right. So the thing about it is it takes a long time and a lot of sophistication. And it's really easy when you're young to think you got it figured out and just roll with it. And I know, because I was probably a lot like him when I was younger. So that's why I kind of get him. But if I was back then, if I could have had someone to say, look, slow down and realize you got a lot of time, slow down and listen more than you talk, things like that, I probably would appreciate that. I probably would. What's that? The fact is to help us work on it and get the message through so others can actually consider it. Yeah, no, I get you, Thomas. You're all good, buddy. You're all good. I know. Yeah, I know. I need to work on it. Yeah. It's not easy, dude. It's not easy. And and there's like I said, people are always under conditions, right? There's your long-term conditions, your midterm conditions, and your immediate conditions, right? It's how you're feeling in the moment. Sometimes you're having a good day, bad day. Are you tired? Are you hurt? Are you sick? Are you well? Are you energized? Your day-to-day condition and your long-term condition, your middle condition, all work together as to how you come across at any given moment. And it's but Corey felt inspired to come in here and say something to us. He hasn't been here forever, but he felt inspired, right? He's gonna tell me the solutions. But honestly, I'll listen to anything people have to say, and I'll definitely review his content probably a lot faster than he would review mine, because I'm always about analyzing things and seeing what they're all about, and understanding where people are coming from. And that's something I've learned over time. It's taken me, I would say that I was less open-minded, more open-minded than I've ever been right now about stuff. So I'll spend an hour or two listening to them. I don't mean to think they're deserving of the patience. Well-meaning people or decent ideas are holding this whole fucking train up. I hear you, man. I hear you. I know. And the train's rolling faster and faster every day. Sorry, winning. I lost my patience. Just couldn't no more. Timed out for the first time. Oh, was he timed out? Oh, don't do that. It's okay. I got it. Corey's all right. He's just a passionate kid. But he can pull it. He pulls together big he pulls together big groups and things, you know. So somehow he talked David Icke into coming into one of his things. I mean, David Icke's the guy who thinks that transdimensional lizards are real. So, you know, that when he invited me to do that and be part of it, I was like, I can't do something with a conspiracy grifter like that. You know, not Corey, but David Icke, right? David Icke's a conspiracy grifter, and I don't associate with true conspiracy grifters. The guy's made a fucking living at it because he did some drugs one time and saw lizards. He thinks they're real, right? I know all about his backstory too. Believe me, I read David Book's book probably long before Corey was out of junior high school. So I don't know, but I read it way back when. I went down all these rabbit holes a long time ago. I got to the bottom of them. I figured them out, and then I started to figure out why they were rabbit holes. Like what was missing from these explanations? What always just fear, never any solutions, right? So I'm all about like I'll listen to it, and you know, I'll give my opinion on it. It may be this is good, this is bad, whatever. It may just be a complete debunking. I don't know, but it's like you know, if you're here living in 2024 and you think Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are on the same team, just because they both are running for offices in government or something shit like that, or there's some giant lizard in the background commanding everybody from the top of the Illuminati pyramid, you're fucking toast. You're toast. You're done. They've got you. They've got you locked in and discredited for life until you just divorce yourself from those ideas, those toxic abyss ideas. That's what I'm talking about, the second veil, right? There's a second awakening people need to go through to understand, you know, they get out of the abyss, really. And sometimes it's like, well, if I'm not listening to government, I'm not listening to establishment media, then everything else is the truth. And that's not the truth. There's lots of people out there grifting off it. There's lots of people out there with half-ass information that are just spouting opinions as fact and that like to spin people up into a big whirlwind of fear, right? But they never present any solutions. So at least I give Corey credit for at least trying to come up with solutions. I guarantee each one of them is no government though. But I'll listen to his stuff. We could have an open-minded debate about it or whatever at some point. Like right now, it's just that's not what's critical, and that's what I was trying to get him to realize. Look at the border issue. If one thing to snap somebody out of their slumber and be like, "Oh shit, I'm not going to have my little organic garden and hippie community full of non-government resistors and sovereign citizens if I don't stop the invasion of our country." I mean, you know, it doesn't seem to get that part. You never know. Maybe he'll watch it. Maybe he'll go watch it and he'll have a change of heart and say, well, okay, well, I want at least to have a country to propose these ideas to later on. So maybe I need to do something today to stop it from completely collapsing or from, you know, the violence he fears coming knocking on his door. I don't know. We'll see. I gave it my best shot. I get how that works though. Hey, Toy, how you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well out there. I actually just rabbited up here this evening, but thank you so much for being here the other night. I hope you've been spreading the word about Line in the Sand. It's still out there and available. It's in the description and pinned in the chat. It's still up on YouTube. So we're happy about that. We hope it stays up and we can get the word out. But I'll be back tomorrow night and I'm going to try to go at 6. I'm going to try to get here earlier. And there's T-Rex trucking. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to be going a little bit earlier tomorrow night. So we'll catch you up on everything. And like I said, we're going to open tomorrow night with more about the border crisis. Whistleblower exposes $347 million contract for transporting unaccompanied minors inspired by the movie Line in the Sand. She decided that was her line in the sand, and she's coming out to say about it. Also, a little bit more about the Darien Gap situation, and I'll have some more stuff on that as well. And then we'll also cover other election 2024 topics. And if Joe Rogan and Trump do go live tomorrow, and it's not just recorded or it's, you know, if there's any way we can view it tomorrow, we're going to be doing it here. We're going to be doing it. But thank you for coming by. I'm sorry that we're getting ready to walk out the door right when you get here. But come back and hang out with us, all right? Come back and hang out with us. Guys, you know what the deal is. I'll be back tomorrow evening for a special evening edition of winning 2024 as we adjust to our new time schedule. And again, think about it. I want to know is if this new time schedule is going to work for everybody. And if so, I'll try to make sure that I do one nightly version a week. And, you know, I'm trying to do the evening versions just to kind of create some space for more people to be here that are watching or are in the habit of watching other channels during the 8 o'clock hour, 8 to 10 hour. Oh, is Joe on? I wanted to send people over to Joe. Let me check. This is the part I always skip. And I'm like, man, at least once a week, I want to redirect to somebody. So that's the goal. Is JoJo live? I don't see Joe anywhere. Is he around? What's he doing? I don't see him. Good logic. Well, I don't think Joe's on tonight. Don't think he's on tonight. But anyways, is Shizzy still alive? He said, why? He's watching. Shizzy's live. I'm sure most of you guys here know Shizzy. He sent some people over to me a while back. I'm gonna send some people over to him. Tell everybody in the crowd over there to watch Line in the Sand. Drop them the link. Tell them to come get the link from this show right here. All right. So that's your mission. Get people and then talk about voting. Talk about early voting. All right. We're gonna be a little activist tonight. But yeah, tell Shizzy I said hi too. Yeah, so no more morning shows. Yeah, it didn't work out with my schedule. Okay. So Joe has a religious engagement. I see from the chat. All right. Okay, cool, guys. I'll come over and say hello to Shizzy as well. You guys have a great evening. Remember, in my crowd, I don't have to tell you guys, but I'll tell everybody that's watching. My crowd knows. Until next time, stay based, get active, go and vote early. Tell people about Line in the Sand. I'm going to start adding a lot of shit to this. All right. But as always, keep on.
From the wackos on the left to the MAGAs on the right, they know I'm beating Kamala. This race won't even be tied. Her policies are nutso. She's out her goddamn mind. She just repeats the same thing, regurgitating her lines. She thinks that immigration without paperwork is good. Clearly not too much power underneath Kamala's hood. Borders are, it's what you are. Borders are, borders are. Cackling Kamala, you're dumb. Mass inflation imminent if she weasels herself in. If that don't sound like fun to you, then you better help me win. I promise I'll secure you, you'll be in better hands. It'd be a flippin' free-for-all with what Kamala plans. Borders are, it's what you are. Borders are, borders are. Laugh it up, Kamala. This lady, she's cackling crazy.
This is a friendship that